Hello, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? Hope you're well. I am well. My toe's hurting a little bit, but it goes around my feet. It's crazy. So, we got Super Bowl coming up, NFL draft coming up. We'll see about trades. Anyway, looking at the line today, we now have San Francisco 1.5, down from 2, and still 47.5. In my mind, a total tie. It's like you can say I'm betting it under, but people are just totally don't get Kansas City. They have a great defense, and they're running the ball more because they can't handle the two deep zone. So it's very simple. The way to beat a Dan Marino, a Dan Fouts, a Brett Favre is to play a two deep zone on them. Because they want to throw it long, they can't because you got two safeties deep, but you can run on it. So KC brilliantly got Pacheco, and they run the ball more. And you got to give them credit for that. And that's what you do now in the league is you need running backs now. So it went from grabbing receivers to grabbing running backs. Anyway, I keep getting this idiot calling me, telling me he's for some credit report. It's a total scam. So he keeps calling me on the scam saying, says, Howard, somebody's trying to open up a credit card in Arizona for you. Now, if you ever get that type of phone call, it's not an 800 number, first of all. Secondly, when you call it back, there's no answer. It's not like, oh, yeah, you've reached the national credit report, whatever. Which, why would they call me on a Friday or a Saturday, say somebody tried to open up a credit card in my name? Like they're trying to scare you. Much like the government does, right? When somebody calls up trying to scare you, you know it's a scam. If somebody opened up a credit card in my name, I'm not paying it. Excuse me, my coffee's ready. So that kind of gets us to stoic, right? Somebody calls you trying to scare you or trying to sell you something. That's when you know there's a problem. That's when you know it's a scam. You're calling me because somebody's doing that, or you get an invoice for this amount. And so it's just a scam. So you just say, I don't know what you're talking about. But if you're curious, you call them back. And when you call them back, there's no phone. Oh, sorry, this phone's disconnected. Anyway, so this idiot called me yesterday a couple times. And I blocked him, and then he calls me this morning with a different number. Wait a minute, you're the National Bureau. You would not have all these different numbers. And then they use Washington, D.C. Okay, there's nothing in Washington, D.C. The National Credit Bureau would not be in Washington, D.C. Too expensive. So I'm thinking, well, people could open up a credit card on me and my name. Where are they going to get my info? Okay, they get it. Nothing I can do. But when you try to get me to pay, I ain't paying. Hey, Bobby Bo. I'm Nanas, just watching the playback from yesterday's close. I'm Nanas. What's Nanas? So I showed you this because you wanted probiotics. This is the best probiotic to buy. It's called Primal Defense. I've been using this for 20 years. Since I was at Ford. Some guy told me about it. He says, oh, this is the best stuff. Now, I didn't know what probiotic was 20 years ago, but I've always used it. And then this is the other thing I use is cod liver oil, which is really good for you. I'm thinking my foot keeps bothering me because I'm deficient in some area. And so I said, well, if I get the fish oil, well, I talked to Jenna and she's almost running out. And then I said, shit, I've been out because I gave her in Berlin my big bottle. And all of a sudden my foot's bothering me. So I got it yesterday. I started taking the stuff. Was hearing the part when you said that you would throw some guy off in the fireplace if you've seen him a lot. The part when you said that you would throw some guy off in the fireplace if you've seen him. Clear that up, Bobby Bo. What fireplace? What are we talking about here? If he fired me, or is this work? I was really in a groove yesterday. I hit a lot of good home runs. Like the whole thing about work. Trying to let some guy yell at you at work in a pet. Oh, that was them. That was Toyota. Thank you, Bobby Bo. I get a little worried when I don't have anybody visiting, and I'm like, well, but it's a video, so if I was doing a video, I wouldn't talk to anybody either. Well, I mean, isn't that true, though? Like you playing baseball, the manager has no right to yell at you. You're doing him a favor by being his outfielder, his number 4 hitter. He should kiss your ass, or at least there should be mutual respect. Bobby, how are you? He should talk to you the way I talk to you. This is the way work should be. Or school. The teacher should talk to you the same way I talk to you. Not I'm the teacher and you're this and that. That's the stoic respect that everybody should have. Same thing with your girlfriend and or your kids or anything. It should all be, the girlfriend shouldn't start yelling at you. What is that? That's not stoic. That's when you just walk away going, I don't know who you're talking to. I heard a good amount of it. You were saying how jobs can take advantage since they're paying you, etc. Yeah. I don't know where I got that from. Oh, I think because I emailed the guy who interviewed me about the job, and he used me. How do I do a budget? What's a standard cost, which is a budgeted cost? How about high level Excel? And he's picking my brain, and then he doesn't hire me, and he doesn't hire anybody. That you can't do that. That's why I'm like, I'm going to send him a bill for $100 for wasting my time. How can you not hire anybody? What are you looking for? And if you didn't see it on the resume, what the fuck are you looking for? Was it that I told him about Daria, that I'm dating a Russian girl? Like, why should that matter? So I don't know, but I was pretty pissed off. You're waiting. Now, if somebody else gets it, fine. I thought he used me. I thought I told him how to do a budget, high level Excel, how to do cost. He says, how would I do cost? And I says, well, here's the market. And if your costs are underneath it, you're fine. If your costs are over, you can't make the product. Well, how do you get costs? I says, well, let's go to the BOM, get the material, have somebody figure out labor, your overheads, probably from the financials, specific accounts, and then your profit. So I said, if you can sell it for 100 in the market and it only costs you 75, you make it. If it costs you 110, you don't. I explained that to him. He doesn't know it. He's the CFO, and he didn't know how to create a cost. So to me, it smells like he didn't know. He knew I was a senior level analyst making 110 for a job that's a financial analyst at 85. So I'm figuring it's a no-brainer. Okay, I'll take it because I want to buy more gold and pay some credit cards. And then he used me. I mean, this is bullshit. He didn't hire anybody. What do you fucking look? Do you even know what you're looking for? And this guy did not have a master's. You need to eat some good food today. So do you get those pita at the supermarket? Yeah, it's right across from the deli at I go to Meyer's. So you've got your deli where they're slicing up chicken and turkey and roast beef. And then it's in where the fruit and veggies are. And so there's a little stand next to the cantaloupes or whatever. And this is a package of, let me show you. So this is a package of 8. So this is what it looks like. 8-pack pita bread, Lebanese style. And then the carbs is very important. These are only 14 carbs, right? Some of them are like 30 carbs. So be careful. I got this because it's not too many carbs, but I could easily, so they ran out. I was going to get something else, especially the wheat ones. They're much higher in carbs. And to me, this is just like bread. I can live with 14 carbs because I run out of things to eat. I'm eating my avocado. I got my dark chocolate. And because I'm doing class, I'll make my omelet later. But yeah, it gets to the point where it's like I'm looking for things. I buy popcorn so I can eat something because I got to be careful with the fruit. Bananas are carbs, so a little, but not too much. And apples and oranges, not too much. They're carbs, a lot of sugar. So that's what you look for. That's why so many omelets with veggies, and then that's why so many steaks and chicken. So dinner, I don't know what I'm going to have. I think I don't know. I might get Chinese. I might not. I yelled at her pretty good last week. So I tell you the Chinese story. So I get the General Chow, and normally when she had a restaurant, I'd get hot mustard. I like the hot mustard. And so I said, well, do you have hot mustard? And she says, yeah. And I said, well, can I have it? She says, yeah. But she doesn't tell me since I got back from Alabama. By the way, it's $1. If you want hot mustard, we're going to put it in a little container for $1. But if you would have told me that, I would have weighed it up. But you didn't tell me. So I'm assuming it's free. I'm assuming it's just like the plum sauce or the soy sauce they give you. Why would it? Well, you don't charge for that. So why are you charging for this? So she says, I'm looking at the bill, and, now, okay, General Chow, 1 egg roll and tax. Hey, this should be like $17. Why is it $18? Oh, I'm charging you $1 for mustard. And I got really mad. I says, look, it ain't the dollar. It's the idea that you're charging me without telling me. And I kind of yelled at her pretty good, like, you can't do that. I said, I've been coming here for 30 years and you're going to fuck around with me and charge me $1 for hot mustard without telling me. So I don't even know that I'm being charged it, because you don't run a bill. You just run a total. You know how the Chinese are at the restaurants. They'll just tell you it's $19. They won't itemize it. And all I'm getting is General Chow and an egg roll. So I'm like, oh, she's charging me $2 for tax, but tax is 6% here. It should be like $1.20. How am I getting this this extra $2? So last time I went, I said, I don't want the hot mustard, and I'm not going to give you it. I used to give her $1 tip, because we're friends. I've been going there. I said, no more tip, no more mustard. I showed you the Grey Poupon's a big bottle I have for $4. I mean, I don't need her hot mustard. I can get the Grey Poupon mustard. It was a nice. She never charged when she had the restaurant. It would be in the big ketchup bottle, a yellow ketchup mustard bottle, and you would just squeeze it. But it was part of the meal, like the plum sauce or anything. And I'm looking at, like, are you that hard up? You need to charge $1 for mustard? I mean, how many people even get the mustard, but you need to charge for it? I says, if you're going to charge, you got to tell me. Pure and simple. And how do you make it? Toast it and put it on peanut butter. In the frying pan, I put butter or olive oil. This is butter. And I just turn it on medium, and I let it heat up, and the butter melts. And then I just lay this on the frying pan for about 2-3 minutes. And then I flip it over. So I do both sides, and that's it. Yeah, if I want peanut butter, I'll still use the butter, but then I'll put peanut butter over it. Or you can just put peanut butter without cooking it. But this is instead of like a toaster. And I just like the way it's fried and with the olive oil. Do you substitute the sauce for the hot mustard now, or do you still have the sauce with it? I would if she'd allow it. I don't need the plum sauce because it's sweet. And it's only for the egg roll. It's just the sweet and sour sauce that comes with the General Chow. I put it separately, and I just dip it in and just have a little of it. Because it is sweet, sweet and sour. It's sweet sauce. But she doesn't offer me a substitute for the hot mustard. And like I said, I got Golden's or Grey Poupon at home. I can just squeeze a little. It was a nice treat. I don't need it every time, as long as I got the sweet and sour sauce. So I use that. I do use the Grey Poupon, like when I make chicken at home. I'll dip it in that, or I'll dip it in the Ken's French. I got Ken's on sale. It was weird. It was on sale at the expensive store. So where I get my meat, it's a more expensive grocery store. Everything's much more. So I only go get the meat there. And once in a while, a broccoli, although they had avocados 10 for $10. So I got 10 avocados for $1 a piece. Couldn't go wrong. And then I go, and I just happened to glance at the Ken's, and it was on sale for $2.99. So I got like 5 of them. It's $3.45 at Meijer's, which is the cheap grocery store. And I noticed it's been going up, but that's what. So I'm teaching Daria inflation today. I said, Daria, it's Valentine's Day. I want to get your roses. She says, okay, I'll go check the price. I said, okay. He comes back. It's like, what'd she say? 260 rubles. So I do the math. It's not even $3 a rose. So I didn't know the price went up so much on it. And I said, Daria, it isn't the price going up. It's the ruble going down, to quote Alligator. The ruble has lost its value, so it takes more rubles. So it looks like the price but they didn't raise the price on roses. It's the price going down on the ruble. The value of the ruble is going down, just like every other currency. So now, if you ever date a Russian girl, you never give an even number. I said, well, I'll get you a dozen roses. She said, no. For romance, it's like an odd number, 7, 9, 11, 13. only for the funeral do you get an even number, 6, 8, 10, or 12 or something like that. And I said, oh, okay, then 11. And I said 7 or 11 are my numbers. So we'll get 11 because it's $3 a piece. So that's nothing. $33. I would expect to pay more. So there you go. There's your Russian lesson. If it's romance, it's an odd number. And if it's a funeral, it's an even number. Yeah, you pick up little things. Another thing for the class. Bobby, so I just place it on a hot pan and put peanut butter after. Put something in the pan. You want to put butter or olive oil to coat the pan. You don't want the pan to burn. So when you make anything in the pan, steaks, burgers, chicken, you put olive oil in the pan and then it heats up and then you put the steak or chicken on it, right? You don't ever put it on you don't ever leave the pan without some sort of substance. So in this case, if you don't want the olive oil, just take a thing of butter and let it heat up and then spread the butter all around as the lubricant and then just put it on top. And then when it's done, like now, you can see there's the butter. Just put the peanut butter on it. Or you don't even have to heat it up with peanut butter. Just take it out and just spread peanut butter on it. And it'll do the same. It just won't be hot. Sorry, Professor, I'm not very skilled in the kitchen. That's okay, Bobby Bo. How about Pam cooking? Yeah, I mean, it's all vegetable oil. That's fine. I just use olive oil because it's something to liquefy the pan, but it's healthy because I like the olive oil is very healthy for you. So you do that. But that's how you do it. I go through a lot of olive oil. And the thing is that the expensive grocery store is cheaper than it's a little the cheap grocery store. For some reason, I get them for like $12.95 for like 36 ounces at the expensive grocery store. It's always on sale for some reason. When I go to Meijer's, the cheaper grocery store, you would think it would be cheaper. It's like $25. I can't figure it out. So when I'm at the expensive grocery store, I buy like 2 or 3 of them because I'm thinking, the price will go up, and so I might as well buy them. I remember when I went to Alabama, I went there and I bought 5 of them for the trip at $9.99. When I came back, they were like $11.99, so it was good. All right, so Super Bowl 20-10. Rice is fine. Kittle with the toe, but he's probable. They're all pretty probable. But keep in mind, so what I've discovered is this 2-deep zone. And this is how smart Andy Reid is. Hate to give him credit, but I will. For recognizing that you need a running back for the 2-deep zone. You run on it. That's the weakness of it. So if they want to take Mahomes away and whatchamacallit, then I can't throw deep because it's a 2-deep zone. So the way around it was Kelsey in the middle or running the ball. So they got Pacheco. That's why he's always running, because of the 2-deep zone. They can't stop the run because they got 2 guys. So they only have 9 left. And I got 9 blockers blocking 9 guys. That's why you put the safety in the box, and then you can't run 9 against 10. So give that credit. But I think so what the rest of the league's trying to do, like Lamar, is we'll have our quarterback run. Well, no, you need the quarterback to throw. It's perfect the way Frisco and KC do. This is why they're in the Super Bowl. They run the ball with the running, McCaffrey and Pacheco are the runners, not Purdy and Mahomes. They can run a little, but that's not, they're there to throw the ball. And they've got it. But these teams that go to the running quarterback don't understand. You don't want a running quarterback to do that because they get hurt. There's nobody there. You can't replace your starting quarterback because you got to pay him $30 million. The drop off from the starter to the other is huge. So you That's why you use the running back. I mean, they got Chocolate Eclair and Pacheco. If something happens to Pacheco, okay, you're not really getting hurt. McCafferty, I don't know who their backup is. But Mahomes and Purdy are healthy because they're not running around. Lamar can't throw. So they don't need the 2 deep zone against Lamar because he can't throw against it. Or maybe they do, but you're more apt to play a zone because he'll run. And that's why a lot of these teams are going to running quarterbacks, but they don't get it. That's not what you do. You run, you go back to the running backs. That's how you beat 2 deep zone. But that's why you see so many bad running backs or bad quarterbacks in the league. Because they're trying to throw into the 2 deep zone and you can't do it. That's the point of it. This is how I stop medium to long passing is the 2 deep zone. So they figure that out. That's why they'll more apt draft Richardson because of that. And Steve Young can't run or pass. So that was a real stupid trade, a draft pick. So we'll see how this draft goes out with what do you do with Fields? What do you do with Kirk Cousins? Who trades up? I mean, that's the problem. Carolina has the worst team. They drafted 1. They got a quarterback, and they're still the worst team. And they'll be the worst team next year because their coach sucks. So it's not drafting the quarterback number 1 necessarily. You've got to get the defense and you've got to get the running attack. But what do they do? So Carolina 1 pick because they traded it to the Bears to draft this idiot. What are the Bears? Now, here's what I told you. The Bears have the 1 pick. They should draft Daniels or Bo Nix, either one. And then you can sit there going, well, we got Fields. You know, who wants Fields? And you wait for the 10th pick when the 5 quarterbacks that went out, Hartman and Caleb and Nix and Daniels and Penix. Okay, once all 5 are gone, now Fields looks pretty good because there ain't nobody else to take. If you take Drake May, you might as well take Trubisky. I don't see any difference. And then you go along with or maybe this J.J. McCarthy from Michigan. I'm hearing that. I'm like, I almost drove off the road. Where did this guy? He's got like 20 touchdowns and 10 picks. Where are you seeing that this guy's any good? I mean, I think he's a free agent. Now, my other thing is I would be trading Goff because I got Hooker. And keep in mind, Hooker put up 50 points on Alabama, which nobody pays attention to. Nobody puts up 50 points on Alabama. I don't know if Joe Burrow put up 50. And we saw Milton this year, and he didn't look half as good. So it's not just the system. So either you play Hooker or you trade him. Why did you draft him? So I think the Lions, they never pay their guy. They always go. Darius Slay and the running back from last year went to New Orleans. They never sign him. So look for them not to sign Goff. And then let's get Hooker in there. At least get Hooker to show everybody what you got. So I would trade Goff, bring up Hooker, trade Fields, get rid of Cousins. He sucks anyway. I would get rid of Tagliabue, to tell you the truth. In a big game, he hasn't won a big game, even in college. You're not winning with him. I don't know. There's very few Trevor Lawrence, get rid of him. He doesn't win. See, it's all about winning, right? You want Mahomes is going to win the Super Bowl for you. Brady, Aaron Rodgers. Well, you could win with them. Drew Brees, that's what you want, but that's not what you have. You don't have it. Cousins doesn't win big games. Fields can't even win regular games. So you got all these players that just are chokes, and I think they're more worried about counting their money than anything. So anyway, Bobby Bo, you're welcome, Bobby Bo. Thank you, Bobby Bo. I appreciate that. I might get a chicken noodle soup. Yeah, that's always good. And let's go Mahomes. Yeah, well, Mahomes will play a game. You can count on Mahomes. And with Pacheco and Kelsey, as long as the left tackle doesn't get hurt, well, no, that's San Francisco. As long as the linemen stay healthy and protect them, then they'll be fine. But that's how I view it. So KC, I got them 20-10 because the secret is their defense is so strong. You've got to bet the game under if you do anything, and then how can you not bet KC is the dog? So this is really a very easy pick. Took me all of 5 seconds to take KC as the dog, like it took me with Baltimore. That's the other thing. They beat Baltimore as a very good team, and they made them look like the Lions. I mean, they just killed them. So I was watching a little of this Tucker Carlson Putin. It was a 2-hour one. So I watched about an hour of that. And I'll tell you, Putin, I like him. He sounds very intelligent. The one thing he said I didn't like was about inflation. He said, well, the U.S. prints a lot of money, but they can ship their money out. I'm thinking, but it's still printed. How does that not count? So that must be what Alligator says with the $130 trillion abroad. That must be what he's referring to, but it's still inflation. You still printed the money, so I don't see how it's not. One thing Putin said that was funny is he said, Tucker Carlson asked him about troops coming to the Ukraine to fight. He says, you think they got more important things to worry about, like their $35 trillion debt and their border crisis, more so than sending troops to the Ukraine? Putin wants to end it. He said that, but the U.S. doesn't. So I can end it, but if you don't want to end it, then there's nothing I can do. He doesn't want to fight. He would have ended it before, when Boris Johnson came into the table and said, no, you got to keep fighting the Russians. And Zelensky, like an idiot, did. But so it's a pretty good. It's Carlson asks, and then Putin answers in Russian. There's a translator, so you hear the translator, but he's very articulate. He explains it very well. Doesn't get all upset. Seems to have a good sense of humor. Now, is it like the guy in the interview with Seth Rogen and the guy, the Green Lantern, the Green Goblin guy? This we don't know. Is this really Putin, or is this Putin knowing he's on TV, with Dave Skylark? But Putin does shit, but does poop and pee. So very interesting here. Oh, it was pretty good. Yesterday I showed you a little Mark McGuire, but I'm going to show you some more Mark McGuire. Real quick, we'll go through the injuries. So chocolate liqueur is probable. Rice is probable. The Wanagogo tackles out, and Tunney, the All-Pro guards, out for Kansas City. And Omanuhu, the defensive end who sacked Lamar and got the fumbles out, hurt his knee. Tony's probable, but wonder if they'll play him. He can't catch. Pacheco is fine with the toe. Chris Jones is fine with the quad, the important players. And then the Niners, real quickly, Armstead probable with the foot. The Kittle probable with the toe, and that's about it. So let me get to Marcus McGuire. So here are these numbers of this guy. So here's the number yesterday, Washington, D.C. And oh, you've got a credit card in your name. So I block him. So then he calls me. This is 3421 with 5345, of which I block. Then he calls me with this number, 201, which you can see I blocked. Dudes, and they're from India. You can tell by their accent, which are famous for scams. Look, dude, again, I told you if there's a credit card from Arizona with my name, cancel it. It's not me. That's all that needs to be done. He wants to run through my Social Security. You know, he kept saying, well, is this your Social Security number? You gave me the last four. I said, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not giving you any information. My birthday, this and this. I mean, it's so stupid. So if I see another 202 or 212, I mean, you're curious, but pretty much most of the shit that you get on your phone that you don't know, it's a scam, or, oh, you got a package, or we can't find your, just don't even pay attention to it. I'm thinking about getting Chinese, but torn because these bastards fry it here. Well, I mean, you can get fried food once in a while. Don't they have like non-fried Chinese foods, like the beef? Ribs, depending on how they cook their ribs. There's a chicken like chicken chow mein. It's not fried. Shouldn't be. But we'll see. All right. Let me get to Mark McGuire. Okay, I've got Mark McGuire. Yesterday I did too much.
Money with AI yet? Don't worry. AI is the biggest
scam in the world.
Outflows per day.
Okay, so I got a little bit more focused on what to show. So I'm going to start showing at 9-minute mark. And you'll be happy, Bobby. Gold at 3,000 and silver will go through the roof. According to Mark, he says silver will go to 8-1. It's 92-1 right now. So if gold's 1,000, silver goes divide by 8, which is $350 an ounce. And that's conservative because we know once the ship is sinking, it goes, right? We know it goes. Then you got the everybody and their mother running in going, oh shit, we don't have gold or silver. We should probably buy some. Because when I go to my guy's store, he says, why does everybody, when it goes up, come in and buy? And I said, because they don't know what they're doing and they're scared to miss the boat. And here it goes up and they want to catch the ride up. And they don't know. See, they don't know it's going to go much higher. Then I was watching that Yankee Doodle guy. So if you ever watch the Yankee Doodle guy, I don't know, it's the Yankee Stacker or something. And he's talking that he thinks a lot of people will sell silver when it hits 40. So the guy's asking him, well, what's going to happen when silver hits 50? Not if it hits 50, when it hits 50. And he still doesn't understand COMEX. Well, COMEX will keep the price down. Well, no, COMEX will be blown up at that point. What are you going to do? And he says, well, I don't know. I might close my doors because if I have to buy the silver from everybody bringing in it at 40 and 50, he doesn't think it'll go up any higher. Shows you how stupid this guy is. The reason is because you want to get out of this. This is the whole point. We buy gold and silver to get out of this. We buy Mahomes cards to get out of this. We buy Rolex to get out of this. So we're trying to get out of this. Why, if silver hits 40 or 50, would I want to buy and get back in? I'm not buying silver at 25 to sell it at 50. I'm buying silver at 25 because I'm getting out of this. Because the risk is if I hold this, And when it goes to zero, I'll be broke. So if I buy precious metals, I have safety. This goes to zero. But I got gold and silver, not a problem. And that's the biggest problem that this guy doesn't understand. And I was, and I know some of you guys listen to this Yankee Doodle Dandy guy, and I was like just shaking my head. This guy has no clue. He's running a gold and silver shop and has no clue what it is or how it works. And I'm just like, oh my God, another fucking idiot, another Peter Schiff. And so he's thinking people will come in at 40 or 50 and sell it, and I won't be able to afford it. I'm thinking, are you kidding me? You should be sitting there buying it hand over fist at 40 and 50. Because when it goes to 300-400, you'll have bought it for 30 or 40. I'm in at 25. So when it goes up to 2,000, I'm dancing all over the place. I'm not sitting there. I didn't buy it to get rid of. And like I told you with my silver or with my gold, they needed more gold. And they asked me, I'll give you 2,000 an ounce for it. And I says, add a zero. If you give me 20,000 an ounce, I'll sell it to you. That's how I think, because I know what's about to happen. It's not going to stop at 50 and go back to 25 because COMEX will be gone. The BRICS nations will be on theirs and Russia, and this will be gone. This will be out. So I got a little concerned when I heard Putin talk about it, going, they can ship out their dollars because he knows about money printing and he knows it's inflation. But I guess he thinks if you print money and give it to somebody else, you give it to England or France or the euros, then the inflation doesn't count. I'm not sure about that. That's a new one for me to sit there and go, well, if I print it all and take it to Switzerland and give it all to Egon, it doesn't count as inflation. I don't think that's the case. It's a new one, but I think if you print, well, let's take a look at our Mahomes card. So there's 50 of them, right? So let's say there's 5,000 and I take 4,000 to Europe. There's still 50. There's still 500 of them, right? Or 5,000. What did I say? 5,000. So let's say there's 5,000. Even if I take 4,000 to Europe, there's still 5,000. It's still not 50, even though I might only have 50 in the U.S., 4,500 out. I don't think that matters because with the internet, people from wherever in the world can use U.S. dollars to buy things. So I'm not sure. I'm going to have to penalize Putin for getting that one wrong. Bobby Bo. Funny thing is the name of the restaurant says China Walk. I called one day and asked, do you walk it? And they answered yes. I said, or do you fry it? And they answered yes. What normally happens is they get it fried. They aren't making it there. So what happens is they buy bulk chicken that's already fried, and then they might throw it in the wok already fried to serve it to you, as opposed to getting the chicken and cutting it up and then putting it in the wok. They're buying it frozen. So you're getting counterfeit chicken that's already frozen, and then they're just heating it up in the wok. This is what they're doing because they can't. You wouldn't wok it and fry it. So they're getting fried chicken is what they're doing to you, Bobby. So be careful. Another way it was at Alabama, all of it was crap. All the restaurants there sucked. That's what I was so surprised about. How can you not have a fucking good restaurant in all of Alabama? Anyway, so I don't believe you can transfer out the money and it doesn't count. Because when 130 trillion comes back, it's all going to count. So I'm not buying that inflation's down because it's not in the U.S. Hibachi. Hibachi, isn't that like a wok? Or it's the same thing. I mean, this is why I cook so much. So I bought chicken breast and I cut it up and I put it in the frying pan, and then I put my sauce on it, my Ken's French and paprika and my pepper and I think some garlic. Let it cook for 20 minutes, stirred it up, and I've been eating it for a week. Well, I fasted for 2.5 days, but that's what I did. So yeah, I think that's the way to do it. But yeah, you can cook it in a hibachi. Anything to get it cooked. You don't want to eat it raw, especially chicken or hamburgers. All right, so let's look at Mark McGuire. This one is the 9-minute mark, talking about de-dollarization.
Other global central bank, without exception, are on record accumulated unprecedented tonnages of physical gold to add to their reserves. That's on record, as well as the global South BRICS nations are concurrently off the record, swapping billions of dollars to purchase unreported. You don't have to report monetary FS gold, but that is what's happening. And so the recent 120 tons that the Bank of International Settlements reports of gold swaps since and don't forget, the Bank of International Settlements squared all of their swaps of 500 odd tons of swaps in November 2022. So these 120 tons are 100% on the books of Fed. Now, this is not going unnoticed. And this short-term Fed intervention is viewed by liquidity providers facing a very tight for supply, strong demand global physical market at current prices, that is showing the Fed as showing a weak hand. Now, historically, the Fed could rely on leasing out and rebuying hundreds of tons of gold leases at the expense of the led-by-the-nose CTAs, the speculators, who could be relied on to borrow enough casino chips from the house to regularly be called in on these loans at a loss. That's how the game worked. This historically enabled the Fed to repay these short-term BIS leases ahead of exposing themselves to buying these leases back at a higher price. Now, there just aren't enough useful fools to take the other side of this trade to get any significant traction. And following the FX gold, following foreign exchange gold being reclassified as a first-year asset class on the 1st of January, 1 year ago, foreign exchange gold now directly competes with Federal Reserve notes. And the BIS swap trade has not been going well for them. And bottom line, the casinos controlling hegemons are running into a far more aggressive de-dollarizing process than they ever expected. And what we're drawing attention to.
So what he's saying is, there goes COMEX. So COMEX was run by all these traders that would short gold, right? Or short silver. And we're wondering, why is the price going down? Because these guys are doing derivatives, betting on gold and silver to go down. But they're not doing it anymore, or far less of them, because they're realizing, wait a minute, I'm going to lose my ass if I do it. Sort of like betting on Lamar. You want to make money, you bet on Lamar, and then you realize, no, bet on Mahomes, don't bet on Lamar. So the COMEX people are drying up. This is another end of COMEX. So COMEX is going out. If they don't have these traders shorting it, they can't control the price down. So this Yankee Doodle Dandy guy, I showed some yesterday. Oh, COMEX will keep the price down. He doesn't even understand it. This is what really frustrates me. He doesn't even understand it, and he's saying to everybody, "Oh, well, you know, the at $50 silver, you know, I don't trust it'll stay." You don't know what's going on. You don't understand BRICS. You don't understand COMEX. This is the problem. They don't get it. So it's really, really frustrating. All right, let's go to 12. Now it gets really, really good, Bobby Bo.
Is that there's now insufficient CTA, this siloed open interest that lives in this COMEX bubble, sufficient to offset a massive central bank-driven exchange of dollars for gold, meaning these leases aren't any longer able to be equitably squared. And this leaves the Fed in an untenable position of adding to their already deeply rehypothecated central bank exposure. We've looked at it multiple times. And in other words, the Fed is so desperate to keep a lid on gold from breaking out, it's ending up throwing really a shrinking supply of what we call sight account bullion into the hands of competing central banks. Under the short-term chart chatter, this becomes evident again into the insider-known non-farm payrolls gold rinse attempt.
Now, Andrew, just before we started recording here, you showed me some interesting data that really illustrates just how deep a hole the Fed is digging right now. Can you share this data? It's quite staggering.
Yeah, Shane, and this is exactly where this gets interesting. And while we've drawn attention to the much larger central bank sovereign de-dollarizing footprints, who have on and off the record accrued sufficient physical gold to be able to choose their moment to revalue gold, last week's non-farm payrolls gaming, and so I'm using this as an example, you rarely get a chance to highlight this stuff. And it provided us a rare window into just how aggressive competing central banks have become in alchemizing the Fed's COMEX-capped, synthetically contained paper gold ranges. Now, these grossly undervalued bullion purchases are being obtained by central banks and sovereigns exchanging literally billions of dollars for fast depreciating, weaponized dollars by way of the COMEX backdoor EFP mechanism, which we've drawn attention to. And where central banks really, this is the key thing, this is the only place central banks are able, the only globally accessible source of immediately deliverable wholesale bullion without driving the immediate wholesale price significantly higher. Thank you, Fed. And what we're seeing is these strategically timed central bank de-dollarizing efforts are exponentially stepping up, really capitalizing on these fully anticipated historical house-rigged paper gold selling events. They're just too easy to pick off, which is why, despite the Fed throwing the kitchen sink at gold and, of course, related silver, the sequence of higher physically supported gold stair steps are impossible to hide. And the next stair step support, as assessed by first-year liquidity providers, is going to be at 3,000, not 2,000 as it is right now. And it's spooking a dwindling number of led-by-the-nose COMEX customers.
So the next stair step, what that means is gold's going to go to 3,000. That's the stair step that he's talking about. The de-dollarization is all these banks, central banks, probably other banks in the whole world, all the central banks, China, Russia, Switzerland, Germany, Hong Kong, are all getting out of dollars to buy gold. So what do we know? What's a market? You got to have demand, right? I can't sell this if nobody wants to buy it. That's a market. Do we have a market in gold? Are people demanding it? Absolutely. So you don't have to worry about it going to zero. You don't have to worry about anything because they can't even keep it down there. They're trying to keep the price down and they can't keep it under 2040, 2050. Now it's going to 3,000. And that's when people start waking up. Now I started watching an alligator one, which was like a week ago that I just didn't see. And he's saying there's not going to be gold for the regular person to buy because the central banks are buying it all. I will share that with you tomorrow because I have to watch it and mark the times on it. So there you go. And when I encourage you to buy it now, as I told Luke, you don't want to wait for the Titanic to sink and then try to get off of it, right? The iceberg hits it, go get off now. And then Luke will be going, well, how long is it going to take to sink? And me and Bobby are like, well, I don't know. The water's coming in, a couple, 3-4 hours. And that's what we're doing with this. How long is it going to take for it to sink? It's not, will it sink? But if you wait too long and it sinks, you're fucked. You can't get off the Titanic if it's at the bottom of the ocean. You can't get off. You can't get into gold once the shit hits the fan. There isn't going to be any gold to get. It'll be gone. The central banks are buying it, tons and tons and tons. There's 255,000 tons. Russia and China have 100,000 of it, leaving 155,000 tons. That's it. The central banks are buying 100 here, 200 there. The professor stole 990. He only stole, the professor on Money Heist only took 90, and you can see how big that was. So you've got a lot of countries buying 500, 1,000, whatever. And then you got your banks, JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs and these other bullion banks, I'm sure are buying gold. And the Federal Reserve has none. What a bunch of fucking morons. And so there's not that much gold left. And therefore, all these people that are getting fucked in the dollars and all these countries in Europe and Asia and Africa and Latin America who are going to want gold, there's not enough for it. Well, what happens when there's not enough? What happens when there's only 50 Mahomes cards? That's it. There's only 50. What happens when 100 people want 50 cards? The price goes up. Because, okay, I'll sell it at a higher price and somebody's there to buy it and you have demand. When he wins this Super Bowl, there'll be 500 people wanting a 50 count Mahomes card. And that's how you have to look at it. If you have more demand than supply, so at most, let's say you got 60,000 tons of gold left, but you got the whole world who's in dollars wanting to buy, give me 10 ounces, 20 ounces. And you got your rich guys who can buy a ton, you know, a ton's 32,000 ounces. Man, I don't know too many people that can buy a ton, but they'll buy 100 ounces here and they'll buy 100. And look at us. I go buy more. I don't have enough. I buy more. Bobby Bo. How about a break with rice and beans? Why a breaded steak? Why not just a regular New York strip and don't bread it? The bread are carbs. So do you really need breading on steak? I would think that would be a meal you don't bread, right? That it's a nice New York strip and the rice and beans are okay. I mean, they're not great, but the best meal would be get a big New York strip, 16 ounce, and get a salad with it. Maybe a baked potato or something like that. That would be better than a breaded steak. Are you breading it? Well, you don't cook. So this is at some restaurant. Can they not bread it? So you're better off without the carbs. Anyway, so that's the thing. There's not that much gold left. And if you don't buy it now and then you realize you need to get out of dollars, you're fucked. What are you going to do? Where are you going to get it from? So I can still go to my gold store. And the only reason my gold guy has it is people are so stupid. They're selling their gold now. Now, most of them need money. And they're probably retired. They were smart and bought gold. It's at 2,000. They don't think it'll go up, and they need money for rent or food or something. So they're trading in their gold to get the cash to go pay their expenses. And then that's where he's got the gold from. So his only time he has gold is when people bring it in, is what he tells me. And he's got a few stores. So he's not stupid. He's not gonna, when silver goes to 50 an ounce, he's not gonna close his doors. That's what he's waiting for. And believe me, it works the same way as he's doing now. So right now, he gets silver in at 22, 23. He sells it for 25. But he gets gold in and he pays 2,000 for it, and I come in and buy it for 21. So what's the difference? So he'll just pay a little bit more for silver. He'll pay $50 spot and sell it for 52 or 53. I mean, nothing should change in his logic of running the business. I'll pay whatever spot is, mark it up, and sell it. Does he not think there'll be buyers? So this is what the Yankee Doodle Dandy guy, I'll have to buy it, is worried there won't be buyers. He doesn't get anything. The raising of the price brings in a frenzy of buyers. That's what that's what my guy says. He says they come in. I'm really crowded when the price goes up. He says people get scared that they're going to miss it, so they buy it. So when it hits 50, yeah, there's some that maybe bought it for 25 to sell it at 50, but if you're smart, you're buying it only to get out of this. So why would I sell my silver at $50 an ounce? Maybe 4 or 5 ounces if I need some money. That's it. I'm not selling it at 50. I'm not selling it at a number. I didn't buy it at 25 to sell it at 50. It's not a stock. Why don't I sell? I don't even sell my Mahomes card. I got my Mantle card. I'm not selling it now. When I need to, I'll sell it. If I want to. I don't really want to sell the Mantle card or my 60. I got a 65 Maze that's in great shape. My 61 Maris. I don't really want to sell it. My 59 Jim Brown. I don't really want to sell it, but it's a nice asset to have. So anyway, keep that in mind. He's saying $3,000 gold, which puts silver, should put it at 10-1 at $300. We will see. But when COMEX breaks, because there's not anybody stupid enough to short it. COMEX only works because there's people to short it. And when the people start seeing it, nobody's going to be stupid enough to short gold. You'll lose your ass shorting it because you gotta settle it. It's like trading places, right? The orange juice was not bad. He bought it at 140, and then it was down to $24. So that's, again, people who short gold and it goes up to $3,000 are going to lose their ass. So who's going to get in that line? Only idiots would get in that line. Sorry to interrupt, economics professor, but I found a tender flank steak. Yeah, I mean, they're all good. You just, like I said, just put it in the frying pan or broil it, or, it's fine. Season it. I use Italian dressing and then my pepper and my, because I'm watching my salts, although that's not really helping. My foot's still hurting. And the pepper and a little, what's really good is basil. It's kind of sweet, even though you don't think so, because it's a spice. And then maybe some turmeric or something. And put a little butter as the steak's cooking to keep it moist. Doesn't get any better than that, Bobby Bo. Or maybe I'll just stick with my market order and meat the pita, peanut butter, etc. Whatever you're in the mood for, Bobby Bo. But I'm leaving like tomorrow for like a roast or a steak. I'll probably have a nice steak and salad for the Super Bowl. I went yesterday and got salad and everything. But my toe's killing me. I've never seen anything like this. It's like my gout goes all around my foot, and now it's on my big toe today. But not on the side where the gout normally is. It's like right in here, and it just hurts like a bitch. I might go to the doctor and get some colchicine. I took this, and then I tried to get the cherry tart. Well, this, figuring if I'm not having it, I'll what do you call it? Deficient. If I'm deficient in some vitamins, and that's why I'm getting it, and that's why it's lasting, then I'll chew it. But I'll probably go get some colchicine. Anyway, yeah, whatever you want, Bobby Bo. Just eat whatever. Just be in moderation. Like I said, don't get M&Ms and eat the whole fucking thing, in a day, or don't eat it for a week straight. Have a little treat, and then that's it. And then just as long as you're fasting till noon, if you fast till noon and eat dinner at 6 and you're done for the day, you're fine. That's all you need to do. All right, back to Mr. McGuire. And let's go to 24. Let's see if there's anything.
Who've actually been led to believe betting against gold was actually a profitable bet. So let's put this into context, though, because this is important. So far, at the open of 2024 trade, just to non-farm payrolls on Friday, we evidenced a massive 110,407 leveraged COMEX gold.
Bobby, you can do it any way you want. You can do you can just take the pita out of the thing and put the peanut butter on it like you would just do a piece of bread. So you don't need to toast bread, right? You can just put peanut butter on the bread, or you can put it you can butter the pan, cook your pita, and then put peanut butter on it. It's your choice, but you can do it just like a regular piece of bread and just take it out of the pack. It's still room temperature. You haven't cooked it, and go from there. So you can do either way.
Warrants being alchemized, EFP'd into a fully funded, 100% fully backed, NSFR compliant, deliverable physical
You're welcome, Bobby.
position. Now let's put that into context. That is over 11 million ounces of gold, 345 tons removed from the COMEX exchange during the first 23 trading days of 2024 trading. That is a head spinning. I need to know what these things roll off the tongue. That's a head spinning $27,601,750,000 of liquidity that has exited the dwindling COMEX CTA meat grinder. And that's just in the first 24 trading sessions of this year. And that's averaging over 14 tons of bullion outflows per day. This is unsustainable. And these tonnage outflows are continuing at the same rate into today, yet again.
You know, Andy, these numbers are absolutely incredible.
Yes, they are.
Openly converting all their dollar assets into gold ahead of its military operation in Ukraine in 2022, we also drew attention to credible evidence that the bulk of China's undisclosed over 3.4 trillion of shadow banking FX reserves have been or are being converted into physical gold bullion. And this backs up the median liquidity provider consensus that the PBOC has been able to salt plus or minus 40,000 tons of gold into the state-held banks without raising a red flag. Converting these FX reserves, which due to global NSFR standards have really recategorized FX gold to the first-tier asset class, has sanction-proofed the bulk of these over $3 trillion of unreported shadow banking reserves, while still enabling these dollar-related assets to be used as collateral for everyday global trade. And more importantly, it enables China and Russia to act as the primary liquidity providers to back Glasnev's commodity currency with deposits of the necessary physical gold assets to actually be liquid enough to handle this oil and energy trade and commodity trade. And furthermore, once the extent of China's de-dollarizing efforts are realized, there will be a race out of the dollar into physical gold. And clearly, the scale of such a massive imbalance between the comparatively tiny Western reported US and European gold bullion holdings versus an estimated aggregated 60,000 tons accrued, while the well-established 2013 Sino-Russia alliance, and I remember talking about this on Max Kaiser in 2013, we talked about this alliance being established, ultimately puts these two collaborating central banks in complete control of the real supply-demand gold price discovery process, essentially in control of a no-shots-fired, weaponized gold price nuclear option, far more preferable than a one-off exchange of vaporizing nuclear missiles. And our Sino-Russia wholesale market contacts report this gold-backed commodity currency is very much now on the front burner. But while it's been illegal to export gold out of mainland China for many years, we now hear of far stricter Russian export controls for obvious reasons. Now, given the pace of official and unofficial central bank gold accumulations alongside heightened geopolitical escalations, bolstering the growing arbitrable divergence between paper gold and physical, the nuclear gold revaluation option, which won't see a single shot fired, all China and Russia needs to reveal is just how much physical gold backs up their respective currencies and to simultaneously revalue gold. And this will be the massive multipolar hegemonic pushback against Biden's, NATO's win-lose geopolitical ambitions, far, far, far more preferable than a hard war.
Yeah, they're not going to do a hard war. They don't need to. So in other words, as soon as China and Russia say this is what we got, which Mark McGuire knows and Alligator knows, 60,000 tons and 32,000 tons. And we all know the U.S. doesn't have 8,000 tons. As soon as that's all out there, then there goes the price of gold through the roof and basically collapses the U.S. dollar, because who the hell wants the U.S. dollar that's heavily printed when you can have gold or a gold-backed dollar? So that's what's coming. I got one more little section. All right, we're going to talk some silver in a minute.
That's probably the most asked question. We're recording this on Wednesday, the 7th, and I just saw reported that the New York Commodity Bank, the New York Community Bank, the NYCB, has just been downgraded to junk by Moody's, which is undoubtedly why Yellen was dragged out yesterday, referring to some banks. I can't use her voice, and anyway, it scares me when I hear her voice, but anyway, some banks may be quite stressed, she says, about the empty office building trouble. No shit, Sherlock. I mean, the very fact that she's out trying to soothe the market suggests this is the next CRE shoe to drop. And what we're seeing here in Europe already suggests this is morphing into a global issue. This has not yet filtered through to the market chasers, but it will, and they will ultimately be looking for safe havens to protect risk investments. And this, along with really very largely blinkered, they are so blinkered to geopolitical risk. Why? When you're sitting in this bubble in the US and you're so far away from all this stuff that's going on, which unfortunately we are closer to, really these political risks are just discounted. They're blinkered, but they are one of a myriad of drivers evidencing gold alongside concurrent safe haven dollar demand. So you're seeing both, which, given both are classified as first-tier assets, and given that these foreign exchange crosses technically compete with each other because you're long one side, short the other, technically. So on the surface, it's roiling the FX crosses when you see gold rising alongside the dollar. However, the automated momentum chasers selling unbacked gold and silver futures contracts into each upside tick of the dollar index are completely unaware that the leverage supply that they're creating is running into safe haven deliverable spot gold demand. Hence, the insiders, market-making insiders that are exposed to the NSFR compliant physical markets, are quick to take the long side of these CTA naked short sales. And who is going to be the loser?
Wow, that's amazing. Now, Andrew, as we wrap up here, where do you see silver here?
So what he said was, this is 2008 all over again. They can't rent out buildings. So in 2008, it was houses. It was people with homes, me and you. Now it's businesses. Like if you have a big building, you can't rent it out because there's all these businesses are either losing money, so they're either working remotely or they're just out of business, which means the same thing. I've got these loans out to get my money back, but there's nobody to give you money back. And the banks will get fucked because they need that money to pay the interest on everybody, and they're not getting it. So it's the same thing. So instead of people, it's now businesses who aren't paying their leases. So here comes some more fun with banks. Now let's hear about silver.
Synthetic silver action. Driving silver close to a mind-boggling 92 ounces of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold today exposes the extremely wrong footing of this momentum-driven specs, who, while chasing a dot on a screen, has zero visibility into the tight for supply 1,000 ounce wholesale market. Yes, we can get 1,000 ounce wholesale bars, but it's the softness in the retail silver demand that's fooling the CTAs into chasing silver deep below what really are buoyant wholesale demand prices. And while this soft retail silver demand continues to suck in these CTA momentum sellers, what is still not filtered through is that the huge wholesale Indian silver demand has significantly tightened silver 1,000 ounce supply. And silver is coiling for a very large move, and as you know, which is pretty much what we assessed last episode. So now, interesting, the LBMA 2024 silver forecast varies enormously, and that was produced yesterday, I think it was. It predicts massive price volatility with their predicted trading range, a trading range of $14, between $18 and $32 for 2024, which compares to the actual trading range of about $6 last year. Now, this disingenuous club of so-called professional traders are trying to spin they're trying to spin this is an acceptable volatile range, and it would be quite normal and gives them the perfect, needs someone to take the other side of this bet though. But then what they're not anticipating is what a gold price revaluation is going to do to silver. And the cartel's break point is $35, which would easily be run through, triggering a bid-only short covering spree that would really completely obliterate the synthetic ratio bubble, exposing really a real 8-to-1 ratio, which is where silver should be. And so, if you do that into a $3,000 gold support stair step, that potentially prices silver at $375 an ounce. And I'm not saying.
There you go, boys and girls. $375 an ounce. Now, what he was going to say is, I'm not saying it's going to happen like that. It'll take time, but we did hear 375, and we did hear 8-to-1. So when we go buy our 20 ounces of silver, the idea is I'll take 8 ounces of silver to buy an ounce of gold. So with my little $25 an ounce, so that's what, so with $200 of silver that I bought 8 ounces of silver, which I just showed you a couple weeks ago, I can buy a $3,000 ounce of gold. How about that for a nice return on investment? $200 to buy a $3,000 ounce of gold. But wait till gold goes to $5,000. $200 to buy a $5,000 ounce of gold, because it'll all be related to 8 ounces of silver buys you an ounce of gold, because that's what comes out of the ground. That's the supply differences, 8-to-1. That's why we recommend silver and we buy silver. And really, that's really retirement. That's your investment. Where else are you going to spend $200 on 8 ounces of silver and turn it into $3,000 and or $5,000? Microsoft? Apple? A bond? Oh, a money market at the bank. As the dollar goes out. So what did I tell you? Daria's like, oh, I didn't know roses are now, basically $3 for a rose. And I'm just That's my point. I says it's not the rose going up, it's the ruble going down, or in our case, the dollar, or the euro, or the Swiss franc, or the British pound, or pick a dollar, Zimbabwe, Sri Lanka, pick a dollar, pick a country, Venezuela, Argentina, Brazil. It's all the same. It's all run by George Soros, who's printing the dollars to nothing because nothing's backed by gold. So this is going on all over the world, and everybody with dollars is watching it go to zero, and everybody's getting fucked. But we got an out. Go buy silver, 25 an ounce. Now I understand there's poor people. So that's why when I tell them go buy gold and I don't have it, okay, go buy $100. Go buy 4 ounces of silver, and don't fucking tell me you don't have $100 to do it. That's bullshit, but that's okay. I'm giving you the out. You want to buy gold? Go buy 8 ounces of silver and wait, 6 months, a year, and then go buy your gold to silver. That's the whole idea. So that's why when Luke goes, how much, how much should I get? It's as much as you can carry, because it's all going up. So it's a no-brainer. It's not even an investment. You're just buying money, but in this case, the money is actually going to get more valuable as this turns into, this is already worthless. So it's a no-brainer. The demand by the central banks push it through the roof. And once the COMEX people don't want to keep buying derivatives because they realize they're about to get blown up on if they keep buying the derivatives, they're about to go get the shit beat out of them. If there's nobody to buy the derivatives to lower the price, COMEX is gone. And now we get a free market based on supply and demand for physical gold, physical silver, which is what I talk about, just like the Mahomes. So this is $5,000, but gold's only 2,000. This is like a 50 count Mahomes card. So this is free market, and that's what when I talk about it, because I've card collected basically my whole life, it's a far better investment than stocks and bonds. Stocks are not a good investment. They're manipulated. We all saw that Michael Douglas movie where Blue Star wants Joe Bob Airlines. We all saw that, and you see how it's manipulated. So you're getting a stock after it's already gone up 20, 30 points. And you're selling it after it's already gone down 20, 30 points, where you can't really do that. You go on eBay, this is what it is. There's no reason for this to go down. He won another Super Bowl. Or the Mantle card. There's no way he's going down. I mean, there's just no way. The only time cards will drop now is if people need the money. It'll be this, but the difference is when they go to sell their gold, it doesn't really get reflected in the price drops. With a Mantle card, you would see a lower eBay price. And that's the only difference. I can't really run to the coin store to sell my cards, right? I got to get them graded, and I got to go on eBay. Or I could get it graded, go to a show, but if I go to a seller, I'm not going to get price. So the Montana cards, like, let's say it's $100,000, and I get it graded 10, it's $100,000. And I go to a card show. I say, I got the Joe Montana PSA 10. I want $100,000 for it. Well, does he have $100,000? He'll need to make money. He'll want to give me 75 or 80 for it. But if I set up a table and I then am the seller, I'm not selling it to a seller. I want to sell it to a buyer, and that's the key. So I want people to come in and they see this Montana PSA 10, $100,000, then I could get $100,000 from the buyer because he's what is there, 25 of them? So he wants to buy it, and he's not interested in making money. He wants that card. He wants that Mantle card. He wants the Maze card. Those are the guys that you want to sell it to, is the buyer who wants it, not the seller who's going to say, well, I need to make money on it. Well, that ain't my problem. This is the price. It's $100,000. And that's what you don't get on eBay. It's just strictly, well, what do I show you? The Montana for 125. Well, you either want it or you don't. And if you're a dealer and you want to resell it, you're still going to pay $125 for it. That's the beauty of eBay. It's you really get rid of the dealers who are going to say, "Well, I need to make money." Or if you watch gold coins or the pawn shop, the Pawn Star guys, you bring it in. Somebody brought in gold and it was worth 20,000. The guy says, "I want 20 grand for it." He says, "We got to make money on it." Well, I don't care if you got it. That to me is just, I don't care about that as an excuse. It's worth 20 grand. That's what I want for it. And if that's why you'd be an idiot to sell it to a seller. You must sell it to a buyer, somebody who wants it. You auction it off, which is what eBay is an auction house to get you the fair price. And that's why you do it. So you got to be careful. Just like now, and then when I'm telling you, when you go sell your gold and silver, so like this Yankee Doodle Dandy guy thinks that, when it hits 50, people are going to sell it. We don't want to get back into this. We are jumping off the Titanic into the lifeboat. The last thing we want to do is sell our gold and silver and get back on the Titanic. We just got off. We don't want to go back in it. So therefore, we don't want to sell it if we have to get back in this. That's the whole point. You're not trying to make $25 on it because then you're back in paper. And the whole idea to buy gold and silver is to get out of this worthless shit. That's what this idiot doesn't understand, Yankee Doodle Dandy. And that's when I'm really struggling with Putin saying, well, you've shipped all the money out. Like, so there's no inflation. And I'd be like, it's still printed. There's still a huge supply of dollars. I don't think that inflation is 3%. I think it's more like 20%, and I don't think you can ship out inflation. You've still created the dollars. It's just a bigger pool because it's, many countries own the dollar, but that doesn't mean there's little dollars, and you have no gold to back it. So it's still worthless paper. So I don't know. That's the part with Putin on. I don't see how, because it goes to a different country, it's all of a sudden the inflation doesn't count. You printed it, it's worth less, making things cost more. So don't tell me, well, we shipped it out to Germany and they got, $1 trillion. So therefore it doesn't count. I don't know, Putin. I'm going to disagree with you there. But here's one I haven't watched yet. There will be no gold for investors from Alligator McLeod. This was 9 days ago, but I don't tend to watch Liberty and Finance. But because I'm watching gold and Mark McGuire, this popped up in my screen. I said, "Oh, Alligator." So it's the same shit. Basically, I just started watching it, but just by the title, the central banks are buying all the gold, which means there's only a limited amount and there's none left for us. Which is, again, why you buy when you can now. That's why sometimes, I'll put it on my credit card, another ounce here and another half an ounce there. And okay, I'll buy a couple tenth of an ounces or a couple quarter ounces, something. I just want to keep buying gold as best I can. I do give it to Jenna, and I will give it to Dario when I meet her, to protect them, because in those countries, it's going to be worth a ton. Especially in the Ukraine. Anyway, my breakfast of champions. Greg and John comes in vampiring. Good morning, Greg and John. Talks to Bobby, Devin Hester, and Andre Johnson in the Hall of Fame. Don't care. The Cleveland coach got Coach of the Year. Again, I don't care, especially when we're talking economics. So this is what we mean by vampiring. He's not adding value to the topic. He's adding value. He's not adding value, really. He's being news. He's bringing in news of Devin Hester and Andre. What does that have to do with the Super Bowl? What does that have to do with inflation or gold or Putin or anything? So this is the problem that I try to address is if you want to bring in something that, okay, now Bobby brings in food, but we do talk health and we do talk, I am showing up probiotics. So for Bobby to bring it in, it is not that much off topic. Now, if it's something to do with the Super Bowl, if Greg and John had said Mahomes got injured, okay, I'd be good. But, we can read the news and see Devin Hester and Andre Johnson in the Hall of Fame. Again, I don't really care. I couldn't tell you who got in last year, and a lot of guys who shouldn't be in are in. And the Cleveland coach got Coach of the Year. I couldn't tell you any of the coaches of the year. I think it's all bullshit. But I am happy the Detroit coach didn't get Coach of the Year. Probably by blowing that big lead, he's not Coach of the Year. Anyway, I gotta get my prescription for colchicine fixed because my foot's bothering me. But I did a 65-hour fast and it's still hurting me. So I really don't know what to do because I'm not going to do another 65-hour fast when it didn't even work the first time. This is a little more painful. It's in my front near my toes, which is making me hurt. Before, the foot would hurt when I walked on it, but if I was just sitting here, it wouldn't hurt. I did have ice on it before, but I think I'll go get some more colchicine and just take 3 or 4 of those and try to kill it that way. I don't know. Again, I'm deficient in something which is making my foot hurt, and it's been hurting for a while on and off. So I want to, or it comes back quite often. Well, I mean, I'm able to, but I do want to go to Turkey. So I asked Daria today. I said, I know it's March 23rd. Do you know when the daughter will? She's on spring break. That's the point of going March 23rd. Can't we just say she's on holiday and she'll miss whatever happens in school on spring break? Like, why are you making the kids go to school? That's the point of spring break. But that's Russia versus the U.S. So I'm hoping to get that, and I can book the trip. And I haven't gotten an email from the guy who interviewed me. Sent him a nice economics. Everything we talk about here is that 40-minute just economics. Paper gold and physical gold and all that, inflation and everything. And no response. I don't know if he watched it. He's probably too stupid to watch it, my guess. Wasn't really impressed with him, but I thought he was power hungry, where he would try to control you or something. Although he did bring up in the interview where he'll go to people and say, how am I doing? Or you can critique me. And I never heard of that before, where you're the boss and you want the people to let you know how you're doing. That's not stoic. Stoic would know I do a good job. So I just kind of laughed at him for that. By the way, did the guy from interview reply to that Titanic video? Well, say me and Bobby connect. No, he didn't. That's why I'm just saying he did not, which is surprising. You would at least get, oh, thanks, I'll watch it. It was very good. Or I didn't watch it. I'll try to watch it. Nothing, which is why my talk on work, that was kind of what it was about. Like, if you're working for somebody, they think they have power over you because they pay your check and they can threaten to fire you and you won't get your money. And they try to hold that power over you. Where if I saw the guy from the Madoff job, and if I saw him at the grocery store, he'd have no power over me, right? What's he going to say to me? So he's powerless. But if I'm working for him and he's relying on me, on paying me, he thinks he has power over me, but he doesn't realize, if you go to Adam Smith, all you need something done. You need an Excel spreadsheet done. And basically I'm doing the sheet. And so if I'm going to do the sheet for you, you need to figure out to, what are you going to do for me to do the sheet? Oh, you're going to pay me. Okay. But you're bringing me in because you need an Excel spreadsheet done, or finance, or, or for Bobby, we need a outfielder who can bat fourth, and we're going to pay this much for it. But you don't own Bobby because he's there because of what he can do. So if you need an outfielder who can hit, you go get Bobby, and you're going to pay him so much. But the payment is just because what else are you going to do? Give him oranges, give him Chinese food and steaks. So you pay him in the medium of exchange. You don't own him and you don't control him. He's doing you the favor because you need that power hitting outfielder. And that's what they don't understand. They think they can control you. In my case, you need a senior financial analyst. That's why you bring me on, and I do all this for you. So I do this for you and you pay me, but you have no right to control me. And that's what I was really getting off on with Toyota. You don't know TK. You don't know what Greg or John. So again, what are you saying, Greg or John? Say so we understand what your comment is. So that's why I got upset at Toyota. Was you're yelling at me? Where do you think you have that choice to yell at me? You brought me in to do financial work. I'm a financial analyst. I got a master's in finance. I've worked at Mercedes and GM and Ford, and I'm there doing work for you. You need me because you invited me to work for you, and you're corresponding paying me because that's what you do. How do you take care of me for doing that work? So they don't understand is they brought you in to do the work. He has no right trying to control me or yell at me or any of that stuff. You don't own me, and you don't control me. If anything, I own you because you called me to come in and work for you, so to do finance. So I don't know where you think you can yell at me. And that's really what I was trying to explain. But if I met the guy at a grocery store here, he can't yell at me or do, I remember you from Toyota or anything like that. He can't do anything. He's powerless. He's only powerful because theoretically he can fire me and not pay me. Well, you brought me in to do finance work. Am I doing the finance work? Absolutely. So then shut the fuck up. I'm doing what you're paying me for. But anything else I do, like if I want to go take 2 hours for lunch, that's fine. Am I doing the work? Yeah. If I'm going to paint your house, let's say I'm mowing your lawn. Are you timing me? No. I could take all day to mow your lawn. You're paying me to mow your lawn. You're not paying. You can't yell at me the way I mow your lawn. I'm going to mow your lawn. You're going to give me $50. You have no right to treat me poorly or, be a vampire on me. You have no right to do that. You've hired me to mow your lawn. Is the lawn getting mowed? Yes. Then shut the fuck up. I'm doing it's a fair trade. I need my lawn mowed. You're coming in to mow it. Am I saying it's got to be done in an hour? Not part of the deal. So I could go take a 4-hour lunch and come back, go at 9 a.m. and finish at 5 p.m. It doesn't matter. You owe me to mow your lawn. There's no hour. So if I go in, you're trying to give me, you got to work 8 to 5. Why? I'm here to do finance. And if it takes me 20 minutes to do finance, we've agreed you're going to pay me $90,000 to do your finance. You're not saying how many hours it takes. And let's say I get it done early. This is the part that really pisses me off because I'm very fast. So if I get what I need done and it's noon and, why can't I go home? I'm done with my work. You're paying me to do what I did. why should I do more? And you can't yell at me. And okay, now if we agreed you got to work 8 hours, but it only takes me 4. Why do I need to be here 8 hours? I'm done with my work. We'll give you more work. Well, that's not part of the contract. That's not part of the negotiation. Part of the negotiation is do X and Y. X and Y are done. I'm gone. So where they think they have this power over you, I don't get it. That's not the way it's supposed to be. It's you're there to do this budget. Okay, budget's done. It's noon, or I'm supposed to update actuals for the month for this cost center. So I do the actuals, but I've got it automated and it takes me 20 minutes. And now I do 7 cost centers and it's noon and I'm done. I brought in the actuals. Here's the budget. There it is. There's your reports. Goodbye. I'm done. Now, when I'm working contract, it's hourly. So in my mind, okay, I'll sit around and fuck around for 4 hours because I can get paid for 8 hours in a day, but I don't have 8 hours worth of work to do. And if you're an employee, I don't know where they get off thinking that they own you and you have to work more than 8 hours. Why? I'm being paid to do the job of finance, of using Excel, creating reports, downloading them from a ledger, and giving you your new totals. That's it. That's what you're paying me for. So if you want me to do extra, well, then I'm going to raise my rate. Let's renegotiate. If I get done in 5 hours, I'm out of there. My work's done. I'm done what you paid me for. Why should I sit there for 3 hours unless you're paying me hourly? And even that's sketchy. So if you're paying me hourly, my incentive is to go slow. And if I'm an employee, my incentive is to get it done as fast as I can, but you won't let me leave. You want to find other things for me to do. That's not what you're paying me for. So this whole gimmick of, well, you'll get promoted or, you'll get a raise. I mean, it's such crap. The whole system is absolutely retarded. You're supposed to pay for what the skill is that you need. That's it. And if you let the person go, I love how the legalese, well, he doesn't need a reason to let you go. Yeah, he does, because I'm basically there to do X, Y, and Z. And if I do X, Y, and Z, he has to, pay me so he could end the contract. But why? I'm doing X, Y, and Z. What the fuck? Gregor John, nice DK. I'm in bad shape. I don't what to do. All right, what's going on, Gregor John? Why are you in bad shape? You still got the girlfriend who won't listen about gold and silver? What's going on, Gregor John? So anyway, that's the problem with work, right? We develop a skill that pays, financial analyst, accountant, window washer, whatever. And when you're done with your work, you should get paid for it because that's what you're hired for. Why do they think they own you? Why do they think you can yell at me? And this is my problem. When the guy started yelling at me at Toyota, being stoic, I basically told him to fuck off. I don't care who you are. You don't talk to me that way. And I told them that. I kept saying, you're out of line, very calmly going, why are you yelling at me? You're out of line. There's no reason to yell. We're adults here. I got a master's. I don't know if you even have a master's or it's a Japanese master's. What are you doing? So why are you yelling at me? And it was like I should have just got up and left and walked out, but I basically didn't answer. I just said, you're out of line. I kept saying it and it was making him mad. And so making him mad, I kept saying it like, you're out of line. What the fuck are you doing to me? And you shouldn't stand for it. You should be stoic and say, look, I do the work. Now, I was relatively new. I says, what is it? What's your problem? Did you tell me to do this? No. So what the fuck? My manager just sits there. She's a moron. She doesn't tell me anything to do. Why is this even out there? Why aren't you talking to my manager to have Howard do X? She can talk to me, which she couldn't do. She was unable to talk to me as a manager or as a person, really. She was way over her head. She would have somebody else tell me to do something. Good manager you got there. And, but I'm not taking that. You're not yelling at me. That's not acceptable behavior. That's not stoic. So I'm not listening to it. When you're ready to talk like an adult and stoic to stoic, Marcus Aurelius, then we'll have a conversation. But you want to start yelling, and it's the same thing with Jenna. It'll be the same thing with Daria. It's the same thing with anybody. The lifeguards, or at the grocery store, wherever you're at, somebody starts yelling, you just turn it off. You go, fuck, I'm not listening to this shit. You don't have the right to talk to me that way. No matter what I did, but I don't have the right to yell at you either. That's why when I'm with my girlfriend or married or whatever with Jenna, I don't yell at her. But if you start kind of yelling, it's like she'll get mad at me for I didn't put my polo cologne on. How could you go out without or my shirt has a stain? And she goes, I didn't know the shirt had a stain. I don't pay attention to that shit. And I don't even respond to her. Oh, you didn't wear cologne. You should always wear cologne with me. She's trying to be like, look who I'm with. I'm with the professor, and look who I'm dating. She's all excited. And then if I don't look perfect, she doesn't understand it. And I'm like, I don't understand this. I didn't sign up for this. But if you're going to raise your voice to me, that's not going to happen. We're not going to have a conversation. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to walk away. I don't know what happened with Greg. I'm in bad shape. I don't know what to do is what he said, but he never answered the response. He says he's screwed. Well, he says he's in bad shape, but I don't know. He said some stupid stuff about Devin Hester and Andre Giant in the Hall of Fame and the Cleveland coach of the year. And I'm like, who gives a fuck? I mean, what does that have to do with what we're talking about? It's not related to the Super Bowl, and it's not related to inflation or coins or stoic, as I'm talking about now. Well, if he's in bad shape because he don't own metals, then I would suggest he goes and buys some silver, right? But why doesn't he own metals? We've only talked about it for the last, 3 years? I hope he's not in stocks, but if he doesn't have money, there's not much we can do. But the first thing you need to do is budget. So you have money. That should be your first priority. Assume is to work to get money in. So how do you get money? You work for it. Somebody will pay you to do a service for them. If it's accounting or if it's mowing the lawn, you get money in. And then with the money in, you go buy silver as part of your bills. My bills, pay rent, pay the electricity, buy food, buy silver and gold. It's right up there with one of your expenses. And if you don't have money for it, you don't have money for it. If you have money in the bank, you're going to lose it. And you're not going to make a lot of money when gold and silver goes up. So, yeah, I mean, but nothing we can do. I mean, I can only tell you what to do. It's up to you to make money so you can buy it. Use your credit card and buy some. Get a couple ounces of gold and get, 20 ounces of silver is only $500. And the value of the dollar is so low that it doesn't, that should be a no-brainer. So I don't know what else to tell you, but I can't help you with that. Go figure out how to get some revenue to make money to do it. So anyway, back to Stoic. So Stoic's about being calm, treating people properly is Stoic. And if somebody starts yelling at you, you don't take it. You don't take that shit. I was watching Anger Management last night on Netflix, and he's yelling, and it's like you don't. That's one thing I told Daria and I told Jenna. I don't yell, and we don't fight, and I don't lie. Basically, I'm stoic. So we will have conversations like this, and we will and we will talk, and we're not going to fight, and we're not going to lie. If you want to know something, just ask, and I'll tell you. I have nothing to be ashamed of. I don't cheat on you, and I help you the best way I can. And if you need money and I don't have it, I'm going to tell you I don't have it. But what I do tell you is the truth. If I tell you I love you, it's the truth. If I tell you to do this or that, it's the truth. I speak the truth. I know it's unique and rare, but that's the way Stoic is. And like I said, Jenna gets a little bit aggressive where, oh, you got a stain on your shirt. And I'm like, Jenna, I'm on a fucking vacation. We went to eat breakfast, and and you're eating, and maybe part of the egg dropped or something. You got a crumb or something. Who gives a fuck? We're on vacation. We're going to the beach. We're going to a museum. We're going to dinner. Nobody knows. Nobody cares. Why is it so hard for you? Oh, somebody will see me with you and you won't look perfect. And I'm like, well, we don't know who these people are. Why do we care? That's my view. Hers is I should, make sure I shave every whisker. I'm like, I don't have 10 hours a day to shave. I just shave. Well, maybe I have some whiskers here. Well, too bad. Do I treat you nice? Do I pay for the meals? Can you talk to me? Can I help you with your problems? Then shut the fuck up with everything else. You got to prioritize, right? Yeah, he's nice to me. He loves me, takes care of me. He pays for the meals. He brings me gold. Then what the fuck are you bitching about, right? So I take care of the important stuff. She wants to dick around about a stain on her shirt. And that's on my list way down there. And that's really where the arguments happen, is what's not important to you is important to her. And that's why you need to talk about it. But you can't yell about it. Just say, well, I'd like you to do that. And I'd say, well, then look at my shirts. If you see a spot, wash it off. If I don't, like once I didn't have cologne on for we were going to the store, and I says, I don't normally put on cologne for that. But if you want me anytime we go out to wear cologne, I'll wear the cologne. It's not a big deal, but it's not something I think of. And for a nice dinner, I'll put the cologne on, but I don't put it on to go swim, or I don't put it on to go to the bank, right? Or go to the grocery store. I'm not wearing cologne. Just something I don't normally do. But these are the Stoic things. And on the top of the list is the respect, disrespect thing. You yell at me, it's disrespectful. So I don't take that, right? That's not acceptable to be yelled at. There's no reason for it, right? And since I'm not going to lie to you, you can yell at me for lying, but I don't lie. So why are you yelling? Like the guy at Toyota, why are you lying to me? What is it that you need to yell at me for? What did I do? There was this $1 million thing for the what do you call it? The maintenance of the mowing the lawn and watering the grass and the shrubs and everything. And it was a huge complex, right? Probably a mile or two of land. And I went to the manager and I said, and I saw the $1 million. I says, is this okay? And he said, well, we shopped around and this was the best we could get, da, 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 da. I said, okay. So I had asked about it, but when he starts yelling at me, I didn't really bring that up because I was more focused on being the yelling part. And I says, well, I talked to the manager. He wanted me to get the quote. And I'm like, no, that's not, the manager got the quote. I trusted his quote. I asked him about it. Why are you yelling at me about it? I'm not the one in charge of getting maintenance for the land, mowing the lawn and stuff. So why are you yelling at me? I asked the manager. I had a budget talk with the managers and the VP, and everything was, nobody had a question on it. You're bringing it up. Okay, is that what I'm supposed to do? Then tell me that, and then I'll go do it. But it's not normal. If I have a manager, he's the one who's managing it. That's the point of it. So it'd be like your manager yelling at you, Bobby, because you didn't make up the lineup card. And you'd be like, that's not my job. That's the manager's job. And he's yelling, Bobby, you should have made up the lineup card. I mean, it's as stupid as that. It was like, look, I did check it out. It came up in the other meeting. And why are you yelling? So do you want me to go find out this thing? I've already checked. That's what I do, but I don't make a big deal out of doing it. That's what I normally did at Mercedes. You would see the cost, that you would question them, but you trust that the manager in charge knows what the fuck he's doing. He's the manager. So the manager of security at Mercedes, I'm in the IT department, has his budget. Well, I'm trusting he knows what the fuck he's doing. And guess what? If he doesn't, we'll see when the actuals come in. And I'll say, here's the budget, here's the actuals. Oh, you fucked up. This is way too low or way too high, which is normal. But you believe the manager, that's his fucking job to do it. So no, yell at him. Don't yell at me. But what are you even yelling for? Just talk. Say, hey, did you, I got some questions. I know you're new. This is what we do. No, you didn't say that. Manager didn't say that. So I did do it. And I did ask about the $1 million for maintenance, lawn maintenance. And he said, yeah, that's the fee. That's the figure. So when I put it in as the budget, that was the figure I was given. And as far as I know, that was the best price he could get. I'm sure he's in it to get the best price to spend, but does the treasurer not realize there's like 2 miles of land out there that needs to be mowed in Alabama? Anyway, Prophet, good morning. I'm okay. My foot's pain, but I can live through the pain. But yeah, I think I'm off to the doctors for my colchicine pills. I'm in a Super Bowl prop contest, and I have a couple of props I'd like your opinion on. Go ahead, Prophet. Are you going to study today after the pool? Well, I mean, I've got my notes with me always, so I'm always looking at these. So I'm always like, what I'm trying to do is summarize them. So I've taken my notes and I've summarized them. So when we want to know what is the exchange, what is the medium of exchange, I've got it right here. Portable, scarce, and I say, oh yeah, by the way, gold's the medium of exchange. When I say what's a strong country, I've got it here. I don't have to go through all my notes. I've got one here on money functions. So I'm going through my notes to summarize it. So when we're talking, I don't have to whip through 50 pages of notes to find where the hell it is. Say's Law, we know. Adam Smith, those I know, so I don't have to do that with. But it's like, the nations. I know most of it. Lower taxes and gold standard and free trade. That's easy. And then the other. But that's what we're trying to do. But yeah, it's like I'm interested in football, right? So I'm always going to look for football to try to get better at picking games. And just a second, Prof, I'll be right with you. And so I'm always looking at that. So I'm always looking at economics, but I pretty much have a grasp on what the fuck's going on and how they're ruining the dollar and how we're going to a gold standard and how the problem is COMEX. And it looks like we're going to blow that up. And then we can get to a normal free market physical price of gold and silver, which is what I teach you about, which is why I show you eBay and the Montana cards and the Brady cards, because those are free market prices. So that's what I'm trying to show you. But yeah, I mean, I'm always interested. That's why I got the master's in it. Like I said, I was going to go back for a PhD, but in Michigan, they didn't have that program. It was only in Auburn, Alabama, actually. So at university, so I could have been there with Charles Barkley or Frank Thomas. I could have been there with Frank Thomas getting a PhD in Austrian economics, which I would have loved to do it. It was like it was weird because normally you go to school and you can't wait till it ends. At this school, I was sad it ended. I was learning so much that I needed 12 classes. I took my 12, and I'm like, but I want to know more. I want to understand what's going on here and there. And they didn't have that many economics classes. There was the Austrian economics, then there was macro and micro. So there's 3 classes. There might have been one more. I had a public finance class, and then I had cost accounting and stock market, a couple of stock market classes. So yeah, I wanted to take more economics. I'm always interested, Bobby, but what I tend to do is I'll watch Mark McGuire, Egon, or Alligator and try to learn from them. And they help me with what's going on in Europe or what's going on with COMEX. So that's kind of what I watch them for. Is I understand the concepts, but I don't know what's going on in England and Russia, in Europe, what's going on. When is it, I know the banks are going to go blow up, and I know COMEX is going to, but I don't know a lot of the details because I don't know where to find it, but I find it on their shows. So that's where I get it from, and that's why I show them out. Profit, will there be any score in the first 6 minutes? Wow. That's a hard prediction. The first 6 minutes, because you don't know about a kickoff return, right? Well, yeah, they probably won't kick it off. If KC gets the ball, there won't be a kickoff return. Butker will put it through the end zone. I don't like the Frisco kicker from Michigan. He's missed about 5 field goals that have cost us a ton of money, especially that Cleveland game. We had big teasers on Frisco even to beat Cleveland, and they're down 1, and he's 40-yard kick, and the fucker misses it. Then he missed something. Last week we got the over against the Lions, and he's missing 40-yard kicks. So he's choked 4 or 5 times. It's hard to say. Purdy's been sucking the first half. Mahomes has been lighting it up. And if anybody scores, I think it'll be Mahomes if there's no kick return. Boy, I will there be a score? I would honestly say no. And I'll tell you my thought is if KC gets the ball, they run the ball a lot, right? Pacheco, little hits to Kelsey. I think it'll take them more than 6 minutes to go down the field, and I think they want to take long drives. They've been ball possession. They've been playing like Army and Navy. Kansas City, what did they have? It was 30 to 20 time of possession over Baltimore, or 40 to 20, I think. So they're trying to ball control and run the clock. Frisco, they're not going to do a lot on Kansas City's defense. And normally I think you get the drop passes, and you got to get the nerves out of your system in the beginning of the game. So I would say no, first 6 minutes. I would say no score. You'll get it in the fourth quarter when they're tired. But I got 20-10, so I don't have a high-scoring game. If this was USC and Colorado, I would say, yeah, there's going to be a lot of scoring the first 6 minutes. But when you got 2 defensive teams going, you could get if there's a long pass, field goal, but who knows? My gut is if KC gets the ball, they're going to run the clock. So I would think KC will not score. The Niners, Purdy, That was Jenna. She's got a flu and she's, not, she doesn't know what to do. I said, go out for a walk. And she said that she can't, it's raining there. It's warm and raining in the Ukraine now. And I said, okay, well, then just take a hot tub or a hot shower. And I told her to take a sauna because you want to sweat out a flu. I had a flu once at camp. And we went out, I was like 12, 13, and we went out and played football. We're playing touch football. So I'm running up and down the field with the flu. I know I feel bad, but I love catching football. So I'm doing that. And when I get back in the cabin, after an hour running around, I didn't have the flu anymore. I sweated it all out. And you get rid of the poisons that way. So I keep telling her, go sauna, go hot, sweat, walk, do something. So I said, I don't know what else to tell you. My toe is a different story. There's nothing. I can only do a 65-hour fast, and if it doesn't work, I got to take colchicine, I guess. But it is fucking painful today. It's been moving around, and it's in the joints, and if it hits the wrong joints, sometimes it's the Achilles, and then before it was on this part of the foot, which was hurting, but this is really painful just sitting. So I'll go to the doctor after. But Prophet, you can look at the teams, which is why I picked the score of 20-10 and say, look, KC's ball control, but Mahomes can get enough first downs. The question is, I don't think Mahomes can if Frisco gets it, I don't see much happening. KC's strong defense. So if they get it, they're going to take 2-3 minutes off the clock and punt it. And then you win for sure because KC is going to just drive it down the field and get time of possession. Later on, Frisco scores, but look at them against the Lions. They got nothing in the first half. It was 24-7. But I don't see KC coming out like the Lions did. They want a ball controller. They're going to run and little short passes by Mahomes, and that's going to take 6 minutes. So I don't think the first 6 minutes. I would bet it under. If it seems like you have to take that pick. Total interceptions over under 1. I'd go over just because Brock Purdy. I don't think you'll get anything from Mahomes, but I think the KC defense is really strong, and their defensive tackle might deflect some. Boza might have deflection. So I would go over 1. But you're probably going to get it from Purdy. How about 1? Is it no bet if it's 1, or do you lose? Longest made field goal over under. I'd go over there. But Butker can kick them 50 yards. As I said, the guy from Michigan seems to choke a lot. But Butker, you can get that before the half field goal. KC should move enough to have a few field goal attempts. I'd say over. 1 is a push. Okay, so if 1's a push, go over. Because Purdy's going to throw you some. Kansas City's got a really strong defense. And you get the deflections, right? So I would take that. But, yeah, see, I don't normally look at that, but that's part of my look at picking the game is saying Kansas City's going to ball control it, so it's going to be low scoring, but you can't stop Mahomes, so that's where I get 20-10. I think it'll be like the Baltimore game where they're just going to run it down their throat, although they're not as scared of Purdy as they were Lamar, and Lamar showed up, didn't he? They got, 10 points? Attaboy, Lamar. How much did they pay for the guy? $50 million? So, Bobby, what are these ball players going to do when all their money turns to zero? I mean, this is insane. Do these guys know anything about gold? I doubt it. I doubt they're listening to anybody. Tom Brady doesn't understand it. And when these guys' houses turn to zero, because they won't realize, then it'll get priced in gold. See, that's the key. Is your house will be worth zero because the dollar goes away, but then you get it priced in gold. So don't worry about it. I don't think these guys have a fucking clue what's going on. So it's going to be trouble with all these guys and all the businesses. Look at this idiot who interviewed me. Think he understands his business will be worthless and all the dollars go to zero and his machinery and equipment. You think he realizes when it goes to zero, it'll then get priced in gold and silver? Fuck no, he doesn't understand. That's the problem. Most people they don't even understand gold, more or less, when the dollar goes out, which is happening very quickly and very soon. You drink a gallon of water a day? God, no. I drink, where's my pitcher? I probably have, so I had coffee. So I have 2 or 3 cups of coffee or tea. I'll have one in the morning. Actually, I'm drinking one for my foot, which isn't working. And then I'll have one at night. Like after 6 and I can't eat, or 7, I will have a coffee or a tea. I probably have 4 or 5 glasses of water with my cinnamon. That's cinnamon, and that's my ginger in there. So instead of putting it in the pitcher, I said, screw it. I'll just leave it in the cup, and then I'll fill it with water, and it's a lot easier than putting 5 of these cinnamon sticks and ginger roots into my pitcher and stirring them up. I said, fuck it. I'll just do it this way. It's funny, ginger roots, $4 a pound at the grocery store. So I bought a double ginger root, and it was 98 cents because they don't weigh anything. So they're probably the cheapest thing in the grocery store. That they don't even ring up at $1. But I'm not trying to drink a lot of water, but I know I can't eat in the morning or at night. And if I get hungry, it's going to be coffee, tea, or water. I'm going to have that. And I know I can have as much as I want. So I will have a few drinks. Problem is then I'm getting up at 2 in the morning to pee because I've had all this water at night to curb my appetite, and then I'm fucked. And you get the appetite when you have your chocolate chip cookies or your ice cream. It makes you hungry, and that's the problem. So you try to be careful with that. How about deli turkey? Yeah, I do have deli turkey. I'll cook it with my eggs, or I love putting it in the pita bread. So in the pita bread, this is a good one for you, Bobby. So I'll put the mustard on it, the Grey Poupon or whatever, the hot mustard, and I'll just spread it on like I would the peanut butter. Then I take 3 or 4 slices of chicken or turkey. Then I fold it and cut it in half. Boom. So it's like a sandwich and a sandwich. And then I have a turkey sandwich that way. So I'll do it that way too. Either way, or hamburgers. When I make hamburgers, I can, fry it up to heat it up, and then I cut it in half, and then I put the hamburger in and fold it around the hamburger and have my French dressing and eat it like that. It's really good. It's a good combination. But yeah, I'm not really counting my food like that. If I'm hungry, I eat. If I'm not hungry, I don't. And I watch the time, wait till noon, and then sometimes I'll go till 7 o'clock. It depends when I go to the pool or how busy. This was a busy week. As you know, Secretary of State or Social Security. I got Secretary of State. I got to do my tab. My birthday's in March, so I got to do my tabs, which I'll get my check Monday, and then I'll have cash again. And paid for Daria's rent, paid for Jenna's window. She got a window. She did a loan, $100 a month for 4 months. I don't know how she got a loan. Like she's got credit, or yeah, my boyfriend in America he's going to pay for it. So I pay her $100 a month for the window, and then some for the food. Well, I'll have either decaf or tea or whatever. But sometimes I get tired, so I want to wake up with the coffee or the tea. I find like I'll get real tired after swim. because I'll be a half hour on the bike and then a half hour running and swimming laps, or maybe 30, 40 minutes. And then I'm in the hot tub, which really tires you out. Anytime you get really hot, when you cool down, go to sleep. So if you can't sleep, Bobby, take a hot shower, right? And that'll knock you right out, because your body, as it cools, gets tired. And that's the whole point of it. So you should be okay, but have, but if you're putting the ginger and the cinnamon in and some lemon, it gives you flavor. So you don't need Coke or 7-Up or anything. Anyway, so be stoic, be smart. Don't let anybody yell at you. And I think that's what a lot of these videos are, is these type of people avoid. So they're probably the people that yell or talk your ear off. That stoic, you want to kind of be calm and relaxed, not have somebody talk to you about nothing. Blah, 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 nothing. You don't even want to talk to these people. So you don't, that's why you get away like the communist in the hot tub. I don't, you're a communist. There's nothing I'm going to talk to you about. Why do I want to talk to you? You're a communist. I don't want to know about communism. You don't know much about anything. Why are we talking? I don't understand it. So when you spot somebody like that, you don't even have a conversation with them. Sometimes at poker, because you have the common denominator poker, you talk to them about poker and then maybe you can learn. But if they vampire you, you just stop talking to them. Or at the gym, in the hot tub, or wherever else you go to. Black coffee, or you add cream. I always add half and half, not milk. I haven't had milk in a while. That gets me to my chocolate milk thing I talked about yesterday, but I'll re-talk about it. So the lifeguard's sitting there with a gallon of chocolate fucking milk. And I did an eye roll to him like, are you out of your fucking mind? What are you doing? Do you not understand how dangerous it is eating a gallon of chocolate milk? Forget the milk being bad for you. The chocolate's terrible because it's not dark chocolate. He says, well, I need to add weight for wrestling. I go, well, then go build your muscles. Why do you need to add weight? Just wrestle whatever weight you're at. And if you need to get up to a weight, then I would suggest you use weights to add muscle to gain weight, or eat late, have whatever you normally eat later. But why do you need, you don't kill yourself by having a gallon of chocolate milk. He's just drinking it down. And I'm like, I'm ready to puke just watching him. I couldn't believe what he was doing. So, again, that was just, you had to be careful. Bobby, that's why I sometimes prefer to be alone. Well, that's exactly the point. We can only take similar type of people that don't vampire. See, once we're at our level, we don't want to be vampired. And what we find is most people are basically idiots and basically, oh, look at the weather. Oh, it's such a nice day out. Look at it, it's sunny. And you're like, oh my, there's one guy in the locker room who always does that. Oh, hi, nice to see you. Look, it's a nice day out. And you're like, oh my God, don't come talking to me. And, yeah, I get it. That's kind of what you try to avoid that. So yeah, I mean, this is what we were talking about Ric Flair. I don't know if you heard that conversation, Bobby. So here's Ric Flair, we all know and love. He can't be alone. He's not stoic. He has a problem being alone. So if he goes on the road, goes into his hotel, he leaves right away, finds a bar or restaurant, and then he starts flirting with the girls because he's got to be important and buy everybody drinks so they'll be nice and friends to him. You buying somebody a drink, they're your best friend, right? So he needs to have company because he can't handle being alone. Can you believe this? So this is Ric Flair's problem. Can't be alone. That's why he's always, he kind of needs approval. So he'll buy you a drink You go, oh, what a great guy. Yeah, you bought me, you gave me, you're paying me money. Of course you're a good guy, right? Who wouldn't want a friend who just pays him money, right? So he can't be alone. He'll come home to his wife and he'll say, I can't sit here, and he'll leave and go to the bar and pick up women and buy drinks to be approved of. And you feel real, now that we understand it, you just feel real bad for him because, this is crazy. But I can be alone. I mean, I'll go try to get more pills, but I will go to the club to soak my foot. And, that's about it. But I come home at night, I'm watching TV and I'm cooking, and, I'd prefer to have Daria here or Jenna, but Jenna won't come. She won't leave her family. There's nothing I can do. And Daria, we're looking to get together, right? That's our plan. So nothing I can do there, but plan it. But so you can be with somebody who understands you, right? Can I be with Jenna? Well, I just ignore her. You got a stain on your shirt. We're pretty good together. Daria, I haven't been with yet, so we'll see. But I think we're good together. I think she realizes I'm good and stuff like that. Carmen realized it, but she wanted to keep spending money. She was terrible about it. She was using me, and give me money like I'm some form of fucking bank. If I'd give her 100, she'd want another 100. It was like, no, Carmen. See that I'm being vampire money wise, but that's what you're looking at. Bobby, I love Ric Flair, but him and Bobby Bo are definitely different in that department. I don't think there's a lot of people like Ric Flair. Ric Flair's broke, right? He'd get his money and he'd go, and everything he said, like he'd have a Rolex watch, but it was all image, but it would be true. And he'd have expensive shoes, and because he was being the character, because he couldn't be Ric Flair. So he was the character, and he'd go out to the bar and he'd treat for drinks, and he'd woo, and he'd do all that was really him. He couldn't handle being Richard Flair. It was Flair or something. He couldn't be that person, but that was the real person. He couldn't be that. So you feel bad for him because you've got to be by yourself. So he basically keeps drinking and can't handle, the kids hate him, and the wife's, he's had a few wives, and he kind of leaves them all, or he's got to marry somebody that is okay being alone, because if somebody wants to be with Rick, they're not going to be with Rick. He hasn't met that woman that says, I want to go to the bar with you. So he doesn't. He's in sad shape, just scared to be alone. He's scared to be by himself. That's really crazy. How long do I leave it on the pan? My pita just got here with my order. Well, turn on your frying pan first, medium, 5 or 6, whatever medium is for you. Put your olive oil in, or your butter. Give it a minute or two to heat up. Then put it on for about 2 or 3 minutes. Then flip it for 2 or 3 minutes, and you should be fine. Just don't leave it for longer. It'll burn. Then it doesn't taste good. But 2 or 3 minutes, you get it nice and warm. But let the frying pan warm up first. Always when you're cooking frying pan, let it warm up. You don't want to put it on cold. So give it 2 or 3 minutes to heat. Then put your olive oil, butter on it. Let that soak in for like 2 minutes, and then put whatever your chicken, hamburger, pita, whatever it is, put it on. So it's really good. You'll like it that way. Anyway, but that's the point. You see, and I think that's why most people have problems, is they don't treat people properly, or the yelling. I don't know what the yelling is supposed to be for. So if your spouse or girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever you are, starts yelling at you, you just it's a shake my head moment. It's like, what why are you yelling? It's like they want to fight. What do you call it? I can't think of the word. It's just a thing. Like they wanna fight with you. It's a reaction, let's say. And I don't get it. They're very insecure. If they start yelling at you, they're very insecure. You've got to read that. And then you got to determine, do I want to be with this person if they're yelling or not? I can't be with my brother or my mother because I'll tell them about inflation and they don't believe it, or my brother's a smart ass and very sarcastic, and I don't have time for it. So I don't even see him. I don't even talk to him. He's not good to be around. So I just don't be around him. I don't know. So you find people that you want to be around with that are what you tolerate. They can be smart, right? Am I going to learn something? And they can be, good communication. But if you don't want to be around somebody who yells, just tell them to fuck off. You're strong enough to be by yourself is stoicism. And then you find somebody, let's say it's some hot girl, but if she yells, like Jenna, she starts yelling, or you don't have the cologne on, you don't let her vampire you. You don't let her, she yells at you. You just go, oh, okay, nice. You don't respond to it. And off you go. And then you decide, that's why I got Daria and Jenna. And, you have a few, is because if they start vampiring you or yelling, you just ignore them and go to the other one and try to find a girl that doesn't yell. That's all you can really do. But that's, why people yell, I have no idea. Sometimes it's a frustration thing. I do know at restaurants I'll get upset. If I order a steak at a restaurant and it comes burnt, and then I look at them like, what the fuck did you bring this out? It's burnt for. So you can't understand the intelligence of the person. Why did you bring out a burnt steak? Do you expect me to eat this burnt steak? I don't want anything to do with the burnt steak. So you could get a little emotion there that they're bringing out burnt steak for you to eat. And you're like, I'm not eating this. And it's expensive. There's no way I'm eating it. Don't burn it. Why would you burn it? Well, you wanted it well done. I didn't want it burnt. I would used to get them like, so they're not pink inside. So I'd get them like medium well. And now I just get them medium because that's what you're supposed to do. But I'd get it and they'd bring it, but it would be burnt because they cook it on a fire. And I'm like, no, don't burn this fucking steak. So that's kind of where you would have not an argument, but you would, kind of, because they're so stupid, you can't figure, like, what the fuck are you doing? Okay. Then put the peanut butter. Don't put the peanut butter on the frying pan. Take it, when it's done, take it out of the frying pan. It'll have butter or olive oil on it from that. I would prefer putting butter on the frying pan if you're going to peanut butter it, and then take it off. And now it's in your plate. Then apply the peanut butter if you want to fry it up. If you don't have to, if you're going to put peanut butter on it, just take it out of here and just put peanut butter on it like you would a piece of regular bread, where you would just peanut butter it. So you can do either one, but it tastes really good. Nice hot. But anyway, so that's what stoic is you don't get caught up in the little shit. And that there is times you get a little bit, like I said, the burnt steak or something, I went out to Italian, took a friend out, and they wanted to charge, the prices went up, the quality, it tasted like shit. They wanted 3% because I was using a credit or debit card. It was not a good experience. It was like way too expensive. just a regular Italian, not the best Italian. It was okay, but I thought they took it. I'll never go back. And that kind of upset me. It's like, fuck, this is really expensive. I was trying to take my friend out for a nice meal. So she understood, but I didn't. I was like, no, I don't. They're trying to take advantage, and I don't like that. I wouldn't. If I was by myself, I would have walked out and went to another place. You're welcome, Bobby Bo. It'll be real tasty, especially if you got like this. It tastes good anyway, but when you try not to get the wheat, those are a lot of carbs. But yeah, I mean it's like peanut butter on crackers or something, but it's a nice thing. Yeah, you'll like it, and if you want, cut it in half or whatever you want. But it's like eating popcorn or chips, but it's much, much healthier for you. Peanut butter should be fine for you too. I don't think there's any problem with that. Have you went to the barbecue spot that accepts so? Yeah, I went a few weeks ago. I was with my friend Alyssa. She needed a ride. When I dropped her off, it's like a half hour away. So when I dropped her off, I took the route to go to the barbecue place, and I had the ribs and chicken combination. It was like $22, which okay. I mean, I'm expecting to pay that, and the price was still there. And so I ate there, and I got baked potato and coleslaw. I didn't bring my Ken's, or I would have got the salad and used Ken's for the chicken instead of the barbecue sauce, which I prefer not to because it's too sweet. You close to Ford Field and all that? This downtown. I'm in the suburbs. It's about 25 minutes away. It's near MGM, so when I go play poker, but I have no reason to go there. I'm not going to ever pay to go watch the Lions play or the Tigers. It's just way too expensive. See, people will say, well, they're keeping the poor away. And I say, they're just making it undesirable to go. That's what I say about the Super Bowl is the tickets aren't that expensive, but somebody buys them and then it gets to the secondary market. And that's really the problem with it. That's why there's $6,000 or $10,000 for 2 seats. And it's like, I don't know who's paying, but I'll tell you in a year or two, when the dollar goes to zero, they ain't going to sell 5 tickets to the Super Bowl because they're going to be priced in gold-backed currency, which nobody's going to have but us. See, that's where owning the gold really will come in. You'll be able to do everything, and 99% of people won't because they don't have gold, and the money will be worthless. So this will be interesting, but we're prepared for it. The Cecil Fielder days, I never want to watch him. I didn't go. I would go to Tiger Stadium. Like I said, I met Frank Thomas, and you'd see the Tigers. I remember in the 70s going to a Lion game at Tiger Stadium. That was nice. But after Tiger Stadium, I was used to taking my kids sitting in the box seats for $5-6. And when Comerica Park came, I had no desire. It was very expensive, and the seating was not the same as Tiger Stadium. And I think I went to 2 games that I didn't pay for. My mom paid for one for her friends, and she invited me with. But I have no desire to go to that. I'm not, the only thing I'd go to is like a Michigan game. Probably is the only thing I'd actually go to the event. But I'm so sick of all that shit. I don't really go to it. I wonder whatever happened to his son Prince. I haven't heard about him in years now. Yeah, he could hit too. I remember Cecil. He hit 50 homers a year. They didn't win, and then Prince came in that one year when they needed the hitting, and I think they got to the playoffs with him. And then he said, "I don't care. I care more about my kids," and they traded him or something. That was funny. But anyway, so that's what you try to do, and you try to be. I think that's what we like to bet on is the football players that are stoic, like Mahomes and Burrow, or the baseball players that are stoic, like Mickey and Pete Rose and those guys. Pete Rose is very stoic, as Mickey Mantle was. Yeah, he was a permanent DH for the Tigers. Yeah, I remember. Mahomes and Burrow, they're very stoic. That's why we don't bet Lamar. So sometimes when they're not a winner, they're not stoic. Lamar is definitely not stoic. Neither is Hurts, and neither is half of Deshaun Watson, and half of the guys I bitch at are not stoic. Actually, Montana was, Lawrence Taylor was, and that's why I bitch at Dak Prescott. He's not stoic. He doesn't win. He's terrible. You want Mr. Clutch. Steve Young was not stoic, but Montana was. But that's who you bet on. Or if you're playing poker, you bet it. You look for the non-stoic players to bet against. The high-strung, the Mike Matusows, the Daniel Negreanu's, the Phil Hellmuths, the bums that are not stoic. Daniel Negreanu, I would say his tell is when he talks, which is all the time. I've never seen a guy so insecure at the table in my life as Daniel Negreanu, constantly talking. I don't know if I could play with that guy. I would probably have to get up and leave because he's a vampire, as is Matusow, and Phil Hellmuth's just a crybaby. Those three guys are not stoic at all, and I'd have a hard time playing poker with them. But I'd beat them all if we had equal money. I could beat them all. But that's where they get you. They can play $60,000, and I'm playing $6,000. I can't beat them at that disparity because my $6,000. He can bet $6,000. I'm all in. Brett Favre was good. Brett was a smooth dude who kept things exciting. Yeah, he had some bad decisions, but overall was a good quarterback. They didn't go to the Super Bowl enough with him. They couldn't beat the Dallas Cowboys, and then they started beating the Niners. So that was their problem. Between the Cowboys and the Niners, they couldn't. That's why it was hard to get to the Super Bowl. When they finally got there, they won, but they needed Reggie White to do it. But that's what you got when you're playing poker. You're avoiding the stoic players, the guys you really can't figure out who are they bluffing or not, and you really don't know. That's when you get up and leave, and that's what I do to people because I'm stoic at the poker table. I don't know what the fuck I got. I'm checking. They don't know if I got no hand or a full house, and I love it. Yeah, it's hard. When I played a couple months ago, when I got back from Alabama, it was like a year ago. I didn't like the game. It was too much to see the flop. So the first bet was always a $15 bet. Well, I want to play $2, maybe $5, because I want to see the flop. Then I'm going to kill you. If I see the flop, you're dead. But they kept making it 15 pre-flop, and I'd look at a decent hand, but not a stoic hand, and I'd fold. And that was really that's what I don't like is when they keep cranking it. And they probably just got an ace or something, but it's a very boring game that way. There's no analytical to it. Oh, you're betting 15 because you got an ace, and everybody goes out. Wow, you won $3. Good way to play poker. I like trapping you and bringing you in and getting more money. And I want 3 or 4 guys. So if I bet 20, I make $60. If you're just heads up and you bank a $10 bet, you win 10. What the fuck is that? That's being stoic. I remember he cheated on his wife and got caught. I want to stop eating early today too by at least 5 or 6. Yeah. I'm going to go to like I said, I think I'm going to stop at the doctor to get my culture seen because I'm in trouble here. My foot really hurts, but I'm sitting. I want to walk around and go to the pool and at least soak it in the hot and in the lap pool. I find when I go walk on the lap pool, it helps it. So I don't know what's going on with it now, but it's been bad for a couple of weeks, but not painful. And today it's kind of painful. No, I go to a clinic, but there's a doctor there, and they know about it. And what I don't like is sometimes I can call them up saying, "Can you renew the prescription?" And then sometimes they go, "Well, you need to come in." Well, we've already discussed the gout. My foot's swollen. It's hard to walk, and I need my prescription refilled. They were usually giving me only 6. And I kept talking so that we got a new doctor in there. And I said, "Look, I need more than 6. I take 2 and 2, and it doesn't, I only got 2 left." So she raised it to 20. So now I can do it, but I just ran out. I took one last week, my last one, and it really didn't help that much. And it just keeps going around my foot. It'll be here, then it'll be here, then it'll be here, then it's the heel, then it's like now it's the toe. Hasn't been in the toe for the 2 weeks I've had it. So it gets frustrating. And then even the 65-hour fast didn't really, it still was sore, which I couldn't understand. Like, what do I got to do to get rid of this thing? And I probably am eating stuff that's creating it to come back more. So I don't know, but I need to get some ice on it and put it in the pool and then get some colchicine. I might go for a walk myself. It's good to move around. You know what it's good for is your head. There's stuff in your head that when you're walking around, it's really good for a chemical releases. So a lot of exercise is really good for your brain, more so than your body. When I go to the pool, it isn't for my body, it's for my head. It's good for your mind. It keeps your mind sharp, moving around and figuring things out. And whatever your exercise is, I'm on the bike, and then I'm on the in the pool doing running and a little bit of swimming, and I always feel refreshed when I get done. So it's really good for the brain. Yeah, it's frustrating. You don't mind, okay, but I keep getting it. That's why I bought the probiotic and the fish oil. I'm going, okay, there's got to be something I'm missing that I keep having an ice cream and my foot gets gout, or it's not from eating steak. I haven't had a steak in a week. I fasted for 3 days, and then I had chicken. What the fuck? I don't drink beer, and I haven't had shellfish. So why is my foot gouting up? And I haven't had any gout. The only thing I had is a little sweets, and last week. So I must be deficient in something. I don't know what else it can be, but something's fucked up. So I might have to go for like a blood test and that, but and then it'll go away and I don't have it. So I don't know. You just flip the pita, so it's okay. It looks nice and brown. Well, just leave it on for 2 or 3 minutes. And if you can lower the stove. If it's, let's say it's 1 to 10 and you got it on 6, make it 5. You don't need it. Because once it's heated up, you don't need it on like the second flip, you don't need on that much. So take it off after 2 minutes, let's say. No, well, it depends. It's up to you. Just hot enough's fine. I wouldn't get it too crispy. I wouldn't want to burn it. It would kill it. But I would just enough to, you're just trying to heat it up, basically. Instead of on a microwave, you're doing it in a frying pan. It's like right here on the front of my toes. It's not the toes itself, but it's like right here is my foot's killing me. It's always in such weird place, but it wasn't there yesterday. It was over on the side. The day before it was over here. So I don't know why it moves around and why it just doesn't go away. It's the needles that are causing the problem. So let me call my doctor and go get my pills, or if I have to stop in and then go to the pool. I don't know how late I know the doctor's open on the weekends, because I made a joke like, seems like you can't get sick on the weekends. You got to get sick Monday through Friday with the doctor, because he's not there on the weekends. I mean, it's so stupid. There should be a doctor there 7 days a week, because you get sick, and because you're not working, so you're probably eating more and drinking more on the weekends, and then you're going to get more sick. I feel the professor over here. I just noticed Greg had just said, yeah, he's been doing that a lot. Fires, really, again, I keep telling him to bring something to the table. He brought up the Cleveland coach was the coach of the year, and I'm like, who cares? Why are you bringing that up? Like, what does it have to do with anything? I don't care who some idiots voted for coach of the year. It doesn't mean anything. Does it help the Super Bowl pick? Where is that coming from that you bring that up? This is what I don't understand with Greg or John. Last thing he said was he's in bad shape. Yeah. Well, we get that, but my Daria. So I sent Daria that I was going to get her 11 roses. So as I was saying, in Russia, you don't send an even amount. I said, I'll buy a dozen roses for Valentine's Day. And she says, you don't. It's to a funeral you send even. For Valentine's Day or a birthday, you send odd. Well, who knew? Says, okay, buy 11 roses, and they're like $3 a piece. And she's apologizing, they're so expensive. And I go, well, that's the roses didn't go up in price. The ruble went down. That's inflation. So I get a little teaching. And so she was thanking me. And I said, well, I'll send it Monday because I'm waiting for the damn check. Because I sent some money yesterday and it immediately came out of my bank. And I was a little like, what the fuck? And then I got a check in and it didn't hit immediately. I got a check from Alabama for my taxes. And I got it the last week or so for $150 as a refund. I'm like, the fuck? Anyway, peanut butter only goes on one end, right? Well, yeah, on one side. I don't think I'd peanut butter both sides. Yeah, so just here and then just lay the peanut butter on it. And bon appetit, Mr. Bobby Bo. I always think of peanut butter when I watch Meet Joe Black, and he likes peanut butter, and I watch it and I go, okay, I got to go get peanut butter now. So it's just funny. Anyway, so that was Daria. So it's what, 3 o'clock? It's 11 o'clock her time. She's probably going to sleep soon. Okay, good. I'm glad you liked it. Bon appetit. As I do, I try to help my class out. So a few more minutes, then I better go to the doctor before they close. But they're probably open till 4 or 5 today. and then I'll get the prescription after I go soak my toe in the hot tub. I can barely walk though, so it's kind of, I don't know if I'll go swimming. I don't mind soaking it, but it's the thing with my foot is I got to figure out where I can walk. Sometimes I'm walking on this side, sometimes on this, sometimes on my back, sometimes on my toes. I can't, sometimes I can't walk normally with it. So I got to figure out the soft spot so I can kind of limp around, unfortunately. Anyway, so we got Super Bowl tomorrow. It should be a good game. It's not on until 6:30. What are you supposed to do all day? Sit there, stare at the wall till 6:30? It's such a stupid time because you really want to eat dinner. It's Sunday night. You're really going to get up for Monday morning for work. And here you're 6:30 to 10 and you're drinking and you're eating and you're out of your scope because you're out of your routine Sunday night, right? I don't know why they don't have it at 4:00 or on Monday night or whatever. Is Sunday at 6:30 the best time to show the game? Because people would watch it whenever it's on. But if they go to Peacock or something with this game and it's only on Peacock, they're out of their fucking minds. They need to what? Move the time up or go to Monday night or something? Well, Sunday is a holiday, right? They need to make Monday the holiday or have the game on at 4:00. I don't get why they feel that the 6:30 game is good. 6:30 to 10. We would watch it if you had it on at 4:00, which would be better for us because then you'd go to dinner after, right? But now you go to dinner at 5:00? It's just totally fucked, but I don't know. I just watch, that I'll watch the games. A lot of these games, Michigan I couldn't watch because I don't have ESPN. I tried getting it and I couldn't get it because of my cable subscriber doesn't have it, even though it's on my Roku. I'm like, fuck you. Like, not a problem. And I watched the highlights of the game. And now I could probably watch the game. It's probably on YouTube. It probably has the whole game, although there's so many commercials. I was watching something. I was watching North Dallas 40 I think it's on Pluto. And it's a pain in the ass. It's like a commercial every 3 minutes, right in the middle of the action. But here's the key. Get to the end of the movie and let the commercials run. So do some reading or something else. And then just before it ends, rewind the movie back to like the football stuff and then play it. And it'll skip all the commercials. The first time through sucks, but the second time through, you get the little pause where the commercial would be, but it already shows it. And then you get the whole movie that way. So that's the better. So you just get the pure movie. But yeah, Tubi and Pluto are some movies, they got a lot of commercials on. Some they don't. Just crazy. Anyway. So have a good night. How is it, Bobby? Most people are hungover, not productive. Well, because it's so late. If you had it early, you'd get to bed early. Nobody's getting to bed at 10:30. You're too wired. Like you said, you have coffee at 2:00 and you can't get to sleep. Well, imagine you're watching the game. It starts at 6:30. You're eating and drinking. Your body's not settled to go to sleep at 11 o'clock. And then you're getting up. Like, it's just so stupid. That's what I don't understand, why it should be on at 4:00, or why don't you have it on today? Why isn't the game on tonight? I don't understand that. They play the championship in college on Monday night. That might be good, but I would say tonight would be the best. I'd say Saturday night's when the Super Bowl should be, not Sunday night. Then it's a big party night. You can have your barbecue, you can do everything, and then sleep in Sunday. That's what they really should do. they wouldn't lose any audience because whenever the game's on, people are going to watch it. Just finished. It was very good. That's good, Bobby Ball. I'll probably do noon. I want to get, well, if I can walk, I'll get to the club, but this way, I mean, the game's on at 6:30, so I think noon. On the weekends, I like to get on. Like today, I was on, I think 11:30ish, and so now it's 3:00, and I'm basically done. So I got on at noon. So it's noon, and I'm basically done at 3. Now I can go to the pool, get my Chinese or get something else, and then off I go. I don't really have much for dinner. I got to take a steak out of the freezer, but I got eggs and I got some chicken left over. So I've been having a lot of that, chicken with the eggs and a lot of veggies. And I don't know if I want to make a salad or have the veggies in the omelet. So some veggies I put in the omelet, some I don't. But that'll be my dinner. But I got to get, if I can get my pills. Otherwise, I'll take other pills and ice it, and it'll be okay. A lot of icing on my foot. But it really doesn't bother me. It feels pretty good after. Kind of numbs me up. I guess that's it. Any other things? So figure about noon tomorrow. And really, we've talked. It's football. Before, I'd have 50 games to go over, and then all the pro games to go over. And now it's one game, and so it takes 5 minutes. And we've talked about the draft. Bo Nix and whatchamacallit, Daniels are they're up here, and then Penix and Caleb's here, and Hartman. So it's these two. That Drake May's down like here. I don't understand. Drake May is Mitch Trubisky. I don't understand what the fuck anybody's bringing him up, or JJ McCarthy. I don't understand it. Bobby Bo, oh, you're welcome. Oh, thank you, Bobby Bo. That's why I like doing it live. And a lot of stuff, like yesterday, or was the other day, all of a sudden, I had no idea what to talk about. And then I was watching the Cincinnati Kid, and I started bringing in poker, and that led to Stoic. And so there's a lot of things that are just coming into me that I talk about that makes sense. That's a good thing. A lot of Stoic, though. Like I said, that Toyota guy, nobody should let anybody yell at them at work. They don't have the right to. And you're there helping them. And if they don't like you, then go get somebody else. Go fuck yourself. But that's why you try to look for the right combination where you can be yourself and they appreciate that. That's really the best places I've had was Mercedes and Hiram Walker, where I was myself and they appreciated it. They're happy that I was there. That's how it should be, not the Toyota or the Madoff place where, then it was a control thing and we're going to yell at you and that, go fuck yourself. I mean, I don't need that shit. Anyway, I think that's it. So I am going to call my doctor, get my foot taken care of. But anyway, we'll talk to you tomorrow again. It's Kansas City 20-10 over the Niners. So far, we had KC beating Miami, we had KC beating Buffalo, and we had KC beating Baltimore. So, they needed that extra week off because they've actually played 20 games. They're going to play 21. I don't like this extra week. It's too physical of a game to play 17 weeks. And now you've added more teams in the playoffs. You got rid of one of the byes, so now it's 4 playoff games for Kansas City. So it's going to be tough on them with only 3 on the Niners. So that's a big thing. They got the bye, and then they get the bye between. So that is something that we need to look at more. But I think because it's Mahomes, we'll be okay. But a lot of the other teams, it's going to be too much to play this extra game. All right, anyway, so we'll see you tomorrow. Get ready for the Super Bowl. And Have a good week and go enjoy. Here it's nice and it's warm and sunny, so I'm going to go enjoy that. All right. Take care, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Have a good day, relax, and enjoy.